Hey, may I have 7 o'clock? We'll call the meeting to order. Previous minutes, I did see, John, you had a couple.
Yeah, I had a couple,
Mike, please.
this would help if I turn my mic on. I had a couple amendments to the minutes that Tammy had presented to us.
I will make the motion.
I did,
I
Tammy.
did. I'll make the motion to accept the minutes with those
Corrections and amendments.
amendments that John had mentioned.
I don't
In
remember.
his
You have to
email.
look. I second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Yeah. You are up. Like, so just to make sure that we're perfectly like where we need to be, we have members of the select board. Do we have the Bakersfield Conservation Committee representatives here? Perfect. CC, Cemetery Commission. Do we have more than one? Some coming later, okay? And library.
More than one?
More than one or just one? Just you? Okay. I'd just like to make sure that, there's no communication errors and everybody's on the same page. So John, I know you had a couple questions about finances. Was everything answered?
Yes.
Yes,
They were
okay.
just off the side.
Okay. And did Vera says she has a list, so I'm all excited to see the list.
I'm sure you. I'll start with the independent contractors employees paperwork. That way, if anybody is just here for that, they don't have to stay longer.
Excellent.
I know before I left in 2018, there was this thing with workman's comp. There's a workman's comp audit done every February, March timeframe. And when you have an independent contractor, what they want to see is a contract, a copy of their liability insurance, a form, a W-9 filled out, as well as a non-employee work agreement and a liability work harmless agreement. And the problem is, I don't know if anybody has talked to any board about this before or recently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give packets out to everyone that has the paperwork for both employees and independent contractors. Employee paperwork is basically your basic stuff for the state and for the federal declaration of healthcare coverage. We have to have them done annually, and we have to keep them on file for 3 years, as well as a USCIS I-9 form. It's a new form. They changed their form. So I just thought if we were here, if anybody has questions, at least I can hand these out so you know what you need if you're hiring somebody.
Here, I think you need to turn your mic on. Ooh.
Okay,
Oh.
Okay, now you have to start over from the beginning. No. I think that was mostly for the people that are in attendance from the BCC, the CC, and the library. So actually, and the select board. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give that directly to Tammy. Vera, my question is, contractors that we've used already this year, do we need to backtrack those? For example, I know we had some trees removed on the cemetery.
Yes, right now.
Okay,
But I don't. The liability insurance is gonna have to set. You know what I'm doing with that? Right.
okay, so that was done, Linda. Yep, by any chance, do you have the original contract or description of work for Mr. Lumbra when he removed the trees on the? And okay, and that would suffice as a contract, right? If we accept that bid and contract as work to be performed. Okay.
The fact is, if I have the liability insurance, that's the biggest thing there.
Okay. Okay.
I had to fill out a whole harmless needs to be done. You find somebody you're gonna hire, it needs to be done before they go out and do the work.
So our grant writer
1099
has to be-
person.
A 1099 person, anybody that earns over $600, I have to send out a 1099, I need the paperwork filled out.
Okay.
So we'll need to
So-
follow up with our grant writer on that and.
That's
That's
been
gonna be
taken care of, I'm pretty sure.
The
Okay.
grant, he was providing the insurance. That's it. I believe he spoke to you, right? He hasn't given you the insurance yet? Like, he hasn't billed us either, as far as I
No.
understand.
Right.
He's almost like it's worth it.
Yeah, before we get billed, I think we need to have that.
Yeah, we have to
information.
have that. He's informed. Vera spoke to him. I spoke with him.
Good.
He is in the know that it will be required of him when he submits his bill.
And that started with. I knew we had that, I didn't think of it for the other things, I mean, people are hired, they're doing the work and, yeah.
Yep.
I decided I needed to talk to Vicky Abear, who's the one that does the workman's comp audit usually, I don't know if she still is or not. But I said, what do I need to have? And that's what I need to have, so otherwise, they're gonna charge you workman's comp on these people.
Mhm.
And the more dangerous the job, the more they're gonna charge you for
Yep.
it, but it's just so.
So
that
you're
you
mowing-
avoid the extra.
Your mowing contract is when we require that too, from Maria.
Yes.
Should I come off? Sure. So,
we get work done that is partly done with volunteer hours. So we have, say, a contractor who that's his job, he's gonna donate his time. I'm assuming we still need insurance.
all right, that is another question that Linda had asked me as well, and I need to. I need to talk to Vicky Abear and see what we need to do, if we have volunteers working, if we need something from that, or we need them to sign something. So I'll have to get a hold of Vicky on that. On my list now.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions for Vera? As far as what's needed and who might need it?
So this is anyone that has a contract with us. Even at this time.
Yes, when. Paul Breyer,
Mhm.
last year she asked me, do you have, liability insurance on, do you have a whole harness filled out, and at the time, I didn't. I said, he doesn't work here in the building. He doesn't work here, so, or on our property, really, I mean, he's come in to talk to Lance I think, at some point, but. So she let that go, but if they're not working here on our property, I don't think it's as much of an issue. But you still should have a contract for whoever you have, and,
So for example, lawn care,
well, yes.
we'll
yeah.
definitely need to have
Yeah.
the contract and everything, make sure we have all this documentation for them.
Okay, your guys are working on, but they're already covered.
Right, correct.
So what I would
correct.
suggest is us coming up with a contract form
Yep.
that we fill out.
Standardized.
It's kind of like a cover letter that
Yep.
would cover any contract the town is entering into.
I agree, like a packet we can hand out and say, hey, welcome aboard, fill out this packet.
Yep.
Yeah, they have a sample one.
Like League of Cities.
I saw it once and then I lost it again. Sometimes it's hard to find things on their site,
Oh, yeah.
but it is a sample one so that you get a rough idea.
Okay.
But yeah, you should have something, but it's like. Some of your places, Alliance Trucks maybe, they do labor there. They don't do it here. It's not their business. We don't have, we send a 1099. Right. Because they get money for labor and everything, but we don't have to send, aren't under this.
Right.
Because they're not working here.
And you know,
It's more if
That
somebody
makes
gets
sense.
hurt on your property. I think what happened, what they're finding happening is. Contractors were doing jobs, they were getting hurt on the job. But they weren't not employees, so they weren't covered up there, but they would try and collect workman's comp, so they
Right.
decided, no, we need to deal with this.
So, I guess this is kind of, I'm gonna ask you to do the spiel again for Mac. In case he has anybody come in to work on equipment or, yep, perfect. Just, when you said that, I was like, I know a couple years ago, we had a lot of work done on the grader in-house. And, that guy takes the wrong step and breaks a leg or something falling off the grader. We need to make sure that our rear ends are covered as the town, so.
you know what
Perfect.
else we need that we don't have, that I'm thinking about to protect us? We don't have any workplace posters here, do we? We're
They're,
supposed to display the workplace posters.
One in the town garage.
I was gonna say, they might be at the town garage, honestly.
Yeah,
I
we
feel like
need to
I've
make
seen
sure
them
we
on the
have-
wall down there.
We need to make sure it's current.
Current and yeah, exactly, current and they're displayed because it's supposed to be in any place that people work, that we employ.
Yep.
You know, the basic stuff, you know, this, the whole myriad, there's like 12 of them.
Make a note of that.
Me?
I mean, if-
Posters, but
I think last time I went down to the shop a couple weeks ago, it is posted on that, as you walk in on the left-hand side over there.
Sure it's all current. and
Yeah,
up-to-date.
it may not be, but it's,
At least it's
the
there.
guys that, there's only, I guess we got one new guy, other than that, the posters are probably as old as I am, but, okay, so does that covers most of our visits?
Yes.
Okay, so if you were only here for that and you wish to leave, you are more than welcome. And if you have any other. As I say, if not, you're more than welcome to stay and enjoy the show here. All right, so that takes care of that section. You said you had a list, so
Because it's getting to that,
it is crunch time.
January,
Yes.
we're gonna have an audit. And I feel that I need to be here for that audit because they're auditing my books, and if they have questions, I'm the one that's gonna have to answer them.
Right.
Have any problem with that? You know?
Other than the fact we don't have anybody to take your spot yet, but
Which brings me to the next one on that list of 2024 is W-2s. 1099s.
Uh-huh.
Quarterlies, 941, unemployment, state of Vermont, only to be done in January.
wait. Do that list slow. Do that list slow, please.
Okay.
W-2s,
Okay,
1099s.
1099s.
yeah,
The quarterlies are the 941,
941
unemployment,
unemployment,
state of Vermont is the WHT 436, I believe,
WHT, was WHT
436.
436, state of Vermont.
These are all things that have to be done in January. And what I have found in checking into it, I am authorized to do the services online. I applied for it a while ago because I had to do the library online. I had to do some stuff for them, so I applied for hours so I could do W-2s. Finding out just recently that if you have more than 10, you have to do them online. Okay, if you have 1099s and you have more than 10, you have to do them on the IRS website. That's not something that somebody comes in the end of December and says, all right, I'll apply for this. It can take 45 days
Mhm.
to be able to get through the process. So I went on to the IRS, if you want me to, but I went on to the IRS and I applied to be able to do 1099s because somebody needs to do them. If you want me to come in January, maybe under assistant treasurer, just to have a title because it's town work, and do the yearly things and the quarterlies, I could do that for you if you want.
Did I say yes to this? I know my head.
We need to.
yeah,
I will make a motion.
It's too late and you're not gonna have anybody to do those if they have. to be
Right,
done
right.
An out one time.
You're 100% right.
I make a motion that we bring Fair Lawyer in January to do her list of 20 things.
As assistant
I'd
treasurer.
second that.
As assistant.
Assistant treasurer.
motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I just figured those things need to get plus.
John, Todd, whoever's, both of them, they,
We all agree.
plus all the spreadsheets and everything done before the auditors come, and I can do everything up before the end of December, but then the interest posts. Right. December 31st, I can't get that till
Right.
January, so that stuff, it just has to be done. And I'm willing to come in and do it for you if you want to, so.
Thank you.
Will that include payroll?
No.
I'm just saying, that's not your normal weekly stuff. No, I'm coming in to do the, well,
she's coming in to help out in anticipation that we have a new treasurer.
Right.
Because
I put it on my Christmas list. Santa Claus is gonna bring them.
we'll see where that's.
Give us
Treasurer, Santa, please.
So I'll be done with the June.
Yes.
I am. I just felt that those things had to be done, you know, walking.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, the other thing is, state aid to the road.
Yeah, they screwed that up this year. Yeah,
Yeah, they did on purpose. I
Yeah.
understand why. With all the floods, they decided to pay things early. So we had July's and then, then we get in July and then we had the one for September or October. We got that one at the end of August, but we've now gotten two for next year. So your January 15th payment is in there and your April 15th payment is in there. Wow. So when you're looking at, oh, we've got this much money,
No,
You don't.
No.
is not money at the end of this year, it's money for next year.
Can we take that out? Can that be moved, out of, well, yeah, or flag the total number?
right.
Yeah. On your sheet is like, I put state aid, but I put 2024
Right.
on the receipt. State aid 2024, when the town report is done, if I have any, if I.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is if I can be here, all this stuff. That'll be notated, that'll be a note in the town report, stated back in 2024.
April.
State aid.
Right,
Can't really take it out, I mean, it's there and it's wrote, but.
We just need an
Make a
asterisk.
note of it in the town report as well.
well, right, because we usually, even building the budget, we try to build the budget without taking that roughly $90,000 into account, so that is a cushion basically for operating costs and inflation.
Something I wanted to let you know about, so I came in and I said, oh my gosh, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Maybe we'll get it again January.
well, that's what I'm worried about, is we'll get the entire state aid at the beginning
Yeah.
and we'll have it. And then, unlike years past where that's kind of been like that, everything starts dwindling down. You get the state aid, it bumps us back up, gets us through, and then once taxes come in, 3/4 of the way through the year, then we're good to go. So it's,
You just gotta realize it's there.
yeah,
We got about half of the money up front.
Yes.
By the look of it,
but
49.
looks a little over half, yeah.
So we just need to, we need to make a notation and
The other half didn't
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah, my list, I put here and I said, well, I'll just discuss it another time, considering on my desk. I have an envelope back from, I think it's American Red Cross, because the address is incorrect. When you receive the correct request
Mhm.
for town meeting day.
yeah,
And the ones you're gonna put in there, if you could give me a copy, that'd be great, because sometimes addresses change, and we looked online for a couple of them, because we didn't have all of them, just hand them to your treasurer, so that you know where to send the money.
Okay, so keep that all in a
older.
folder,
Yeah.
and then it's like one of the last things that we do before we put it on the town, on the list.
Well, yeah, addresses are,
Okay,
like I said, I've got one on my desk now, but I don't know where it's supposed to go,
okay.
so.
Remind me, there's a folder in the back of our,
There is one.
yeah. There's one that says town meeting, and
No,
I think
it's last year's, we're talking last year's 2023's town meeting folder was out there a couple weeks ago. I thought I saw it.
it's still in the file box out
It
there.
has all the.
So it
requests.
might have the address on, well, it might have that.
We looked up, Kathy looked up one online, and I looked up another online, and then.
Yeah.
Just to make it easier for whoever's here.
Mhm.
And talking about a treasurer, I'm thinking, you probably need to offer more, you need to get a treasurer.
Yeah.
You need to offer more to get one.
I see Fairfield's in the same boat as us, or is there zoning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only there.
Yeah.
Just so you're aware, I haven't had a chance, I sent an email out, QuickBooks. Is a desktop 2021 on our computer,
Mhm.
and I received an email from Marion, somebody. It said Intuit on it, so I'm assuming, and I didn't give any information other than. I need to know what the cost would be to update it, because they're no longer gonna support it after May 31st.
Yeah, right.
Which means anything, they're not gonna support it. I asked for information on what it would cost to upgrade it to a newer version, what it would cost to have payroll. Actually, if whoever's here could do manual payroll, that would be better. For the simple reason that when Kathy does the warrant, as you've noticed, all the taxes are figured on it.
Mhm.
It's not necessarily the same as what QuickBooks is gonna tell me it's supposed to be.
Right.
because they're different, but we need to do, the warrant needs to be done for your meeting, so I've just been going in. Anytime it figures it, I just went and change all of them. But why pay, and it's costing us. Is it $50? Is it a quarter or a month? Probably a month. To have that, and I don't even use it, because I went and put the figures in myself. I fill out my 941s myself,
Okay.
W-2s, don't do them on that. I don't know if somebody else might want to do the 941s though, I mean, you have the road and you have the town. They're on separate things on QuickBooks. So are they gonna send out, another W-3 to go with? The W-2s, is it gonna make a problem with the feds that you've got? Going in?
Right, right.
But it might not, I don't know. It's just something to think about, I don't know how much it's gonna be.
Did we request a quote for the online, the cloud version?
I just requested a quote, period, as to what to do to upgrade, but I haven't heard back from them.
Because we're always gonna hit that, right, where we're gonna need to upgrade every 2 or so years
Yeah.
with the QuickBooks, but if you go with the QuickBooks in the cloud or as a service, like they all love to call it now. That's automatically updated. We don't have to pay, but there is like a monthly, could be 9, it could be 50, I don't know dollars. So if you get that quote back, ask them what it is for the cloud version.
Now, the payroll, it's per employee.
Mhm.
That's, I mean, they can see how many employees you have, and then they charge you so much per employee.
Yeah.
Every month. And I know I talked to the library and I said, it doesn't make sense for employees to pay over $10 a month to have them figure it. If I was trying to see if I could win and do a manual one, but then it took my payroll out totally, so I went back to the way it was, because I didn't know how to, just figure it out totally. So,
John, that's up your alley with that.
I'm in the middle of a merger and acquisition. I don't have the opportunity right now
Okay.
to do it. I'm not trying to shirk it.
No, I'm just saying if she can, if you get that quote back
I can go through it.
and we can discuss
go
it
through it. Hopefully
at
we'll
the
be
next
done.
meeting that Vera's at, for sure.
I can try and call them, I just.
Keeping in mind that is December.
We can give it a shot, but I think that with also usually they give a break for, governmental institutions versus a privately owned business or a business, so it
Of course,
should be
that's
less.
under the town Bakersfield, but it looks like the owner on it is still Abby, and the administrator is still Abby.
Yeah, we need to just change that. We need to change that to like town of Bakersfield treasurer.
I don't know if they
That kind of
might
thing.
want an individual person, sometimes they
Yeah.
ask for like driver's license. driver's
Yeah.
license.
Maybe put one select board member and the treasurer on
Something,
there, yeah,
yeah.
so that you always have it.
Put Lance in. He's been here forever. People seem to like voting for him.
Anyway, just stuff to think about,
It's his fault for not
Okay.
showing up. Thank you.
Is that,
that's the end
is,
of my list.
that's everything? Okay.
Awesome.
So many questions. Oh,
I've been making a couple of weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks to get it together.
okay.
Yeah.
That gives us some things to tackle for sure. And again, if anybody knows anybody looking for part-time work as a town treasurer, send them my way. We're
Yeah, I really.
dire need here. I don't blame you at all. Yep, yep,
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I think you.
I appreciate it.
Actually, maybe, it'll be a year.
Yeah.
I need 7 months notice that I know the problem you're in. And
Yeah.
I know that it's not easy,
Yeah.
but I just can't keep.
No, I understand. It's, you've definitely given us time and it's,
We're
we'd
still-
hire them if they'd stay. So,
Yeah.
all right.
Thank you.
So we have is Catherine here. All right. Okay, sorry, Catherine. I was gonna try the last name, but I was like, I don't wanna. Dimitri?
I'll put your names, but at least it was.
I screwed up the first name, so I mean, can you just imagine how I would have done?
All in all, I'm gonna take that.
Okay.
Given how my thing's been sent in other places, I'm not sure.
So if you remember, we requested Catherine to be here to help explain. Last meeting, we were talking about the municipal technical piece.
Yeah.
And we
Right.
requested her to be here to help us out with understanding what exactly that entailed.
So thanks for having me. While I'm here, if I could touch on a quick few other things too.
You want to be the treasurer?
If it was 8 years from now, that's in retirement, that would be a pretty fun thing. All right, so but not. So municipal technical assistance program, let's take that first. I did look at your minutes from last week and agree with your concern that, you know, hearing something's free. But this one actually is. Yeah, believe it or not. So last year, this is called the Municipal Technical Assistance Program. Last year in the budget adjustment act, so mid-year through the fiscal year, the state passed this new program, Municipal Technical Assistance Program. They put aside about $3 million statewide for this program. The impetus behind it was the idea that across Vermont, there are likely smaller communities that don't have staff or are in danger of losing their staff due to retirement. Who would, if they had the resources, be interested in trying to apply for some of the big amounts of state and federal dollars that are coming in as a result of ARPA and infrastructure bill and COVID relief and all that. And so this program was created to actually provide technical assistance to municipalities who might have a project they want to move forward. So if you have if a municipality has a project in these categories, water supply, I might have handouts for you, that's probably easier than trying to pick things. Water supply and wastewater, housing, and community recovery related to COVID, workforce development and business support related to COVID, energy, climate change mitigation or resilience projects, or other community economic development projects that you might have that got pre-approved by the state. If you have a project like that in those categories, and you could use help with project management, with other grant applications or permit work, or anything else to just get a project done, then this program can provide you that assistance. And it would be either through working with the Regional Planning Commission, working on your own to hire a consultant, working through us to hire a consultant, you know, depending upon what it is you had in mind that you needed, if you even have a project. There's lots of different ways to be creative to take advantage of this free help. That's it in a nutshell. The funds were prioritized based on the community need index that the state agency of administration put together that looked at population, tax base, whether you have staff, what your median income is, a lot of different factors. And in the first round, Isle was the only community in our 2 counties that qualified, but in the next round, there was a group of 5 or 6 more, and Bakersfield was one of them. And so they're trying to make sure the money for this technical assistance doesn't run out. So they're prioritizing the most needy communities based on how they define that.
So how does this coincide with MERP?
So it coincides with MERP in that if you had a project that was identified as a result of energy audits, let's say,
Right.
that you wanted to move forward, but wasn't eligible for the implementation funds, or you didn't get the implementation funds, this technical assistance could be used to help further that project along, to help the town see if there's other grants you could apply for, to see, you know, do some engineering, do some cost estimates, project manager if you decided to go forward.
What if, so we had a list of several buildings for MERP, not, I know you're here for this, but 2 of which were put on the back burner. And I don't believe we've had the individual come up and even examine our buildings yet. For MERP, one of them you're sitting in and one is the library, but we had 2 town garages that were kind of put off to the side because, you know, we tried to cover all the town buildings. And I just didn't know if this could be used for those 2 buildings to help shore them up because they are definitely wind tunnels. At least the one is a wind tunnel. I've been in it.
So it's the town garage.
It's town garages. We have two of them.
Yeah,
Well,
well, once,
primary and a secondary.
Yep.
And I can only speak for the primary because I haven't really been in the secondary.
Pretty well insulated.
Yeah, the primary is just,
There's some neat furnaces.
it definitely does not help, green energy wise. It definitely needs a lot of assistance. I'm trying to be.
you're being
polite.
very nice, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely needs help. And, I just didn't know if this technical assistance program, maybe we could move that underneath that heading to get some momentum to getting that repaired.
I
Or
asked
sealed
that
up.
because they do know that if it's a project that is NERC eligible, you can't use the technical assistance program.
Right.
So I don't know because it was eligible, but there's only so much you can do, so you
Right.
prioritize other things. That to me is a gray area, so I need to ask.
Thank you.
So this could be used though to help look for grants for possible construction of a new facility. If that was,
Potentially,
Oh,
that would
if
fall
that-
into the other.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You would need to get pre-approved.
okay,
It's a good idea.
well, I mean,
no.
yeah, it's just,
The town garage one needs help.
Yeah.
I just keep it in
Needs
that kind of
replacement.
context. It needs,
Sure,
it definitely,
Yeah.
it's even just walking around in the place, it's dirt floors, there's
Replacement,
going like this, there's no real
relocation.
seal.
Maybe what it needs is a.
Re-energized.
Yes.
That's why we were trying to get it under MERP, to be honest, because it definitely needs. It would do well with an evaluation and replacement possibly.
Oh, I thought you said demolition, my bad.
I'm sorry, I may have said that by accident, I'm not sure.
Is also statewide and in our region, town garages are hard not to crack. There's no good grant programs.
Right,
The ones that exist cover such a small portion of the project, and they're so much more expensive. than you
It's-
think they are.
exactly.
Yeah.
We're principally
It's-
heating the
I
outside.
think
Yeah.
we are the last one in our area though to,
Still,
Berkshire's building a new one now. Montgomery's is fairly new. Fairfields is very new. Enosburg.
They haven't decided that they are looking.
Yeah, we're one of the last ones in our area to take that look, I guess. you
like I
could
said,
say.
we are heating the outside.
Yeah.
We are definitely, there's no question about it. We're losing more heat than retaining it within those four
Oh,
walls,
yeah,
that's
you
for
can
sure.
see from inside to outside.
So
So
check out that.
Thank you.
Definitely. And then, again, the other projects are water, wastewater, housing. And I know you do a Brigham County project that you're working on. I don't know if there's anything related to that. I can get a chance to talk to Kathy before tonight. It's usually written on, so she knew of, but, so something like furthering that project could work.
like I said, this is a
Bless you.
little,
Bless you.
this is a little out of order, but I'm not sure there, and Tammy, if you want to put this in, we'll have to vote on it later, but I've been asked to warn an informational meeting about the Brigham Academy project for December 11th at 6.
I have a hair appointment.
Yep, hopefully to last 1 hour and be open to the public.
And it's open to the public?
That's what it says. That's,
Oh, that's awesome. We could see
I mean, in order for it to be, yeah.
That-
So that is, if that's something you could attend, Lance, our fifth member who's not here, is heading that, and he's the one that asked me to, well, December 11th at the Brigham could be a little chilly, so I'm going to assume here. Yeah. Yes. He didn't give me the location, but yeah, I'm assuming
Is that Lance?
So it's a
Is that
regular.
Lance?
it's the hour before that.
Yeah.
So it's an informational meeting, which then will bring us over to this meeting,
All right, so 6 PM.
6 PM. Yes.
And is that gonna be a Zoom?
Oh, you're asking to set that up. Yes, I would assume that he would want a Zoom link for that also. It could be a normal meeting, then you wouldn't have to set up a, yeah, move it up an hour.
Yeah.
Sorry, not to interrupt what you were doing, but I know that could be information that you need.
Yep.
So. The steps about participating in this program, first step is take a vote on whether you want to accept this assistance in theory. And then second, from there, we will continue to work with you to, find out about these projects that you brought up, identify if there are any other projects. In the end, you're not obligated to do anything, so if in the end turns out there's nothing, then you can just say, oh, well, thanks for the offer anyway, and move along. But there's no harm in voting to participate and trying to figure out if there is something that could help the town move forward.
I would make the motion that we go forward with the MTAP program and actually work with them on that.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the MTAP program. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thanks.
So next steps, I will find out about the projects that you mentioned today to see if those are potentially eligible, and then the next time come back, I'll check in with Mona over the 11th. If it can't be me, somebody else from the office will come in
Thank you.
and talk about next steps and what will happen next.
So our water supply guy, he's not here today. But he's also our road commissioner, so he may also have some questions. Because our water district, it's not an old system, but it's not new either.
But it is a 501c3 organization that's independent from the town. So it's a fire district, yes. Yeah.
So I think the way that is working is that is eligible as long as the request comes from the.
Okay,
But
That's-
I need to double check.
that's-
that.
yep. If you wouldn't mind putting that on the list, just in case.
We haven't seen anything in March.
Yep. Excellent.
Thank you so much for coming up.
Thank you.
It's while I'm here.
Yep.
2 more minutes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. We don't have a representative from Bakersfield on the transportation advisory committee.
You don't.
I don't know.
I think- Well, transportation advisory. I thought that was Mark.
Oh, it's Lance.
Was it Lance?
That's his fault for not showing up.
Yes.
Hunting season.
We did have somebody. Who could represent Bakersfield, maybe once a month, there's policies and caution. And then they help set transportation priorities for the region for state funding and work with our legislators.
We could figure
That
it out.
It's
sounds,
called again.
Transportation advisory.
Can you,
Or at
do
least
you
the-
know who our prior representative was by
It's
chance?
somebody, today, it was somebody who represented, I think, Enosburg, Bakersfield at the same time.
Maybe Gary?
That's right.
Gary,
yes, it was Gary Denton.
Oh,
Yep.
Last name lost me, but I got.
Yeah, because he was familiar with all the roads.
All right, so we'll probably have to, let's find someone to fill that hole.
Yep.
When do they meet? Do you know?
They need, whatever is it, they need this Thursday, so is that the second?
Second Thursday of the month?
Second Thursday of the month.
So that'd be great. We'd love to have Bakersfield represented.
Oh, absolutely.
It's really nice to have somebody in the people. And then Bethany just wanted me to let you know that she is working with who your road person is that Mac?
Mac.
The East Berkshire Culvert and Belvedere Mountain Road. So
Okay.
That's moving forward. And then our Emily Clougher, one of our planners, met with the planning commission a little while ago and talked about the municipal plan update. Yeah, so we're planning for grant for not until next year, so.
You actually have one of them sitting right there and I recorded it. So, yeah, yeah.
So that was great, and we're really excited about that opportunity for the town. And then I just wanted to check in on what's going on with your zoning administrator.
We don't have one.
We do have one.
Oh,
We do?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, so he was brand new, voted in meeting 2 meetings ago.
Years ago, that's right.
Right now, he's, last I knew, correct me if I'm wrong, Tammy, because you're in here more often than I am. He is trying to get caught up on some of the backlog that happened when our previous zoning administrator
Left.
stop showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shit.
That's a.
right, but I mean,
Personal reasons
Right.
prevented her from performing her tasks.
yeah, that's a great way to put it. He does have hours on the board.
His
Okay.
last name's Westcombe, by the way.
Yeah, I put it in. Okay, great, and so we will make sure we have that, we have a news on the administrator roundtable, we're hosting. those, and-
Yep.
Excellent.
Nice.
And so
Yeah.
We're available.
It'd also be nice to get
As a
him in
resource for
every other
anything.
opposite of Vera.
Thank you. Did we get Brian the access to the zoning administrator email address? And what is that email address?
Zoning.
Except that
admin.
it's on the website,
So
think
the
it's like-
same address, it's just-
same as the one that was used prior. We just changed the access over, maybe the password, right? We didn't make a new one. That's the same one that. Oh, we did. I have told the tale.
Sounded like the same one.
I thought it was the same one. Just change the password. Oh, we just changed the password. Okay.
Oh, that makes more sense.
That makes more sense.
I was like, bro, I may be crazy, but that sounds the same.
Guess you could send the invite to him to that and
Yes,
then,
we definitely will, and then he's welcome to call us anytime, we'll reach out to, just to make sure he knows he can call us, right?
Perfect.
And then last thing is I just wanted to say thank you for your 2 regional commissioner appointments, Linda and Bill. And Bill is in his last year as our chair of the board. We have a 3-year term limit for that, and he's been fabulous. We've been so happy now. So
oh, that's excellent. Thank you.
We appreciate having 2 really active members.
Nice.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Thank
And
you.
I'm gonna take like
Okay.
library.
Enjoy.
Appreciate you showing up.
Thank you.
Yes.
Excellent, yes.
Drive careful, the roads are.
Yeah.
They getting greasy?
Yeah, you're getting greasy out there.
Still tired, so.
Yeah.
Can't get an appointment for my tires.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Just gonna put them on rims.
Up
Change
next.
them myself. There you go.
Barnes.
Mr. Barnes, we have you on the list next.
Well,
If you wouldn't mind just popping up and,
my legs don't work that well. Pick it up and leave.
okay. You want to pull the mic back so we can hear what you're saying then?
Yeah.
There we go. That's fine. All right, so I'm assuming,
As town health officer, I was contacted of the residents of 4,200 Bakersfield Road. You guys have been talking for tonight.
there's
Can you just
at the end of that, there is there.
turn that towards you, so,
That's
No.
mine.
They're here somewhere.
thank you.
Ginger, where did you put those copies?
They're next to you, I think. I didn't see them, but.
No, I got these 2.
I have more copies.
As I say, I only have 2.
4,300 East Bakersfield, there you said?
That's just it. Oh, Jesus, what a packet.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if we could just,
There's more.
Oh, no, I'm thinking, okay.
So I was contacted by the residents of 4,300 East Bakersfield Road, requesting a rental inspection. The residence is owned by Mr. Barnes. And as town hall officer, I don't need the landowner's permission. I can do an inspection by the resident's request. The inspection will show you that, I found several, dangerous situations, including, working smoke alarms, no working heats. And the water is not functioning properly. The biggest one is the heating system. By law, if the outside temperature is below 55 degrees, the landlord has to provide working heat. That doesn't mean he has to pay for it, but the system has to be working. And whether the lease is that the tenants provide heat or the landlord, that doesn't matter. It's that it has to be a working unit. Which I found to be not working.
okay,
So I did contact Mr. Barnes. He has been, very respectful towards me. He understands the steps. Based on my findings in my report, I did have to issue an emergency health order. And Mr. Barnes also has an attorney. I've been in contact with his attorney. Where the problem is existing for Mr. Barnes is, and I don't have proof either way, Mr. Barnes reports that the tenants are not paying rent and they are in the middle of an eviction process. And Mr. Barnes has
The end
the end.
of the eviction.
Okay.
So he has expressed that he needs these people out of the house and he's going to tear down the house and never rent it. So his wish is that he not make the repairs. The problem is, as long as the people in the house, and this is information I got from his attorney, is as long as the people are in the house, they have tenant rights.
Okay.
So with the emergency health order, there's a couple of laws that I need to follow. So, I explained to Mr. Barnes, I've issued the order, he has received it, the tenants have received it, his attorney has received it. He had 5 days to file appeal, which he has done it, and that's why we're here tonight.
Yeah.
Sound right?
Yeah.
Okay.
As I say, you agree to everything she said so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The fact that they have stayed,
Oh.
they moved into the house.
Okay,
That's 15 months,
okay,
16,
15.
15.
They moved in the last week of August, 2022.
okay. I'll be 100% honest with you. This is the first one of these I've dealt with. I also was not given any notification. It was obviously it was just a name on the thing. He could have been stopping by to tell us how good of a job we're doing for all I knew. Thank you. So
Question.
you have a couple questions? Okay,
Gary, having been, my prior job was a fire marshal for the state, so having been involved in these kind of inspections before, The one-
I think you've been to the house.
I've been to the house, yes. So the question I have is, when did the heating unit stop working?
3 years ago.
So that unit, under the renter's rights, if there is no heat, then the renter can set aside money in an escrow account until such time that that repair has been made. And at that time, then they must pay you back all the back rent. That's based on, I've been in court before, dealt with these, so that's kind of how that process works. It's hard to evict someone when you've had issues that you haven't corrected. Does that make sense to
They
you?
have not complained about this to me.
Okay, no, I'm saying, that's kind of how in the dealings I've had with the courts and through my other job, that's kind of how things have worked before.
See, they won't
So,
even talk to me.
I'm confused. Why is it coming to us?
so it came to us because it was filed.
Next step.
He wants to know what you're going to do about it.
So after, so he gets his appeal tonight,
Yeah,
and then the select board can choose to, turn it into a health order. And there's bullet points, I have the board, and you can basically order him to make the repairs for his tenants. And if not, then there's fines that get involved. Like right now, I can be fining him $100 a day. And that is not gonna accomplish anything in my opinion.
So did the state get involved in this at all?
So I have sent my report to the Division of Fire Safety, and I have not heard back from them at all. So what, basically the next step is, if Mr. Barnes is saying he's not making the repairs, then the next step is, the town writing a health order. Just another saying, you need to do it, and then after that, there can be, criminal charges.
so we can't shut it down due to the fact that it's not healthy enough for someone to be living there.
That's what's.
So basically, it would,
So they.
so the health order will basically condemn the property at that point, right?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, okay.
It's saying the repairs have to be. I asked. what we can do.
I honestly don't know the answer to hardly none of these questions because. Again,
Well, I will make it, demo. it. I'll do it on the way home tonight. It's right
I
there.
think that would be a,
that would,
good question for your attorney.
Well,
Yes.
that ain't till tomorrow.
don't, the one suggestion I'll make is don't make any hard decisions that'll land you in
We're
a,
gonna make a decision tonight anyways, because we don't even know what we're doing.
yeah, that's,
So we're gonna have to look
I did
into
make
it ourselves.
The tenants are using electric space heater.
right.
A dual role as your second assistant fire chief, that's 15 out. 40% of, fires that are caused by electric heaters, are fatalities.
People use them constantly.
So I did advise them to that, we're gonna use, make sure that we keep from any vulnerable
Right.
material,
Walls.
things like that.
When
So-
people's gas gets shut off, that's what they go to.
What's wrong with the heater?
Electric heaters.
So the outside tank is cold.
I had, some people I had living in there, living in there, the last time. He's the man that killed the guy on a motorcycle.
Oh.
He's in jail now, but he worked on the system, unbeknownst to me, and screwed it all up.
Okay,
So when I tried to get him in there last year, to fix it,
yeah,
I couldn't get anyone in. I called everyone in the area. I got, Fred's in the van for a couple days.
Before tonight.
So they said, okay, put a wood stove in and they heated the house. Last one with a wood stove.
okay.
The same heating system that they had last year, they have today.
The wood stove still there?
The wood stove was there, the tenant said
The only
that last year, there was chimney problems, they cannot use the chimney. So they're-
Did we have anyone come inspect the chimney to confirm that?
That's what we get from the division of fire safety.
This is the first I've heard of this. But the other thing was,
Yeah.
I had to supply the friggin' wood for them. I'm sick of feeding these people.
I get you. I understand the frustration.
I will not do a thing in that house.
I understand the frustration. Did you at least get the chimney cleaned or inspected this year?
This is the first I've heard that the chimney was not serviceable.
And how did they determine this, the chimney was not
Just
serviceable?
their verbal.
I mean, how did they?
They deliver stuff.
There was a problem with it last year.
Like there wasn't-
We not responded for a chimney fire, and so I'm not quite sure.
So there was no description as to what the problem was.
I'm just wondering, we got a lot of stuff here. I'm just trying to dig down into it and. But I mean, I see we didn't hand them the EPA pamphlet, but, looking through this thing. And some of this is smoke alarms. That's easy stuff. That's like $10, $20. The water pressure, that's a problem. No heat's obviously a problem, but we can't even confirm that really there's a problem with the heat. I mean, except that they say something's wrong with the chimney is, we haven't, no idea if the chimney's a problem or not.
A full tank in the basement. And that-
What's oil fuel, you mean? If it's empty, I mean,
Not
I
education.
guarantee you, if the heat,
You have a couple of young men who are still in the basement.
That was part of what, Fred did.
Yeah, I mean, I can guarantee you don't put oil in the tank and it's empty, it's not gonna work.
It's not gonna,
So I think our next step is to have Ginger contact directly the fire division of fire safety and ask
Have
them to
them
come
look-
out and do the inspection because they, from a state statute standpoint,
They're
they
just gonna do
have
it.
that as part of their mission to do.
Right.
Fire safety hazards, my fault.
Have they gotten back to you at all?
The other thing you have to take into consideration, I said this was nearing the end of the eviction process.
Right.
And it's all been done legally.
Mhm.
And the last thing they did was on the 1st of November, the sheriff acted a sign on their door. They had to be out by the 21st, otherwise they would be physically removed by the sheriff's department. So be careful what you do, because you're gonna spend money for nothing.
You're saying 8 days from now they're
Doesn't
being
cost me.
evicted.
They will be physically removed, supposedly according to my attorney, on the 21st.
do you have any of that documentation with you? No, okay.
We would need that.
I think
Gary, we
just-
would need that, right?
Yeah.
To have us. We do.
Okay.
No, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying we need it.
I understand, John. It's just I've dealt with this for 3 friggin' years and I'm sick of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at certain things. Does the dwelling have fire extinguishers, right? But it says if there's 3 or more units, how many units are there?
Yeah, but it says they're all discharged.
I'm just asking, is there 3 or more units there?
No, there's only one house.
Okay, so the requirement here is if there are 3 or more units have a fire
I
extinguisher.
also been there that one of my first jobs as town health officer, I'm sorry, I don't remember how long I've been here, was the inspection of the same house. And
Really?
and like all the smoke detectors were there, everything was there. We had a question about you testing water, but we talked like 3 or 4 times, making sure you were doing the right thing. So he was completely cooperative as is being with this time. But as town health officer, I also want to say that as Gary's going through this and this house is in this condition, we also need to worry about the tenants.
No, I totally agree.
So they can't be left high and dry either. They do have rights, whether they're evicted or not. If they're in that house, they have tenant rights, which is where
So
my personal opinion down.
let me just ask you this, in all this process, we're calling them tenants, has the courts deemed them tenants or squatters? The courts.
I don't
System.
know. I haven't been to court for that. My attorney takes care of it all. I do not.
And then squatters have rights too, I'm just saying.
No, you're
you
right,
know.
yeah.
I'm just saying, what are we dealing with, the tenant or a squatter situation here? Well, you're saying that legal has to,
Right.
you know, kind of put that,
So it hasn't gone to court.
I got you. I totally understand, Gary. I understand where you're coming from. I know you don't want to put the money into it because they're gonna be gone. I totally get it. Just as Josh said, keep in mind it's being recorded. You don't want to say that.
Yes.
I know your frustration level. I'm not questioning it. I'm just saying. How long does it take for first off, if we request the state to come in and inspect
It's
or?
supposed to be done within 48 hours of notification, but I know there's short manpower, so. that
Okay,
may
and
be early.
is
But I
there,
think the phone call to the manager of the office saying we need to have this done.
right,
Also, the phone call be better coming from one of you. You've already tried, you want me to keep going to bat and.
Tell them that I asked you to call. Seriously.
and the other question I have is, so we call them, they come out and inspect it. It's on the town's dime, the state's dime, whose dime here are we talking? 'Cause
There's no charge for this. There's
Okay,
no
that's what I wanna
nominal
make
fee
sure.
at all. It's,
So I think the next real recourse is because there's a lot of claims in here and I get there's not water running properly
There is a lot of
and such.
that
The heat,
Yeah.
the heat is the main thing, like, you know, I don't have any heat in this place, that's a concern. But if that chimney's fine and the state inspector says it's fine,
There's heat.
and they have
there's
to-
heat. If they don't wanna buy oil,
Yeah,
if they don't wanna
electric heat is
buy,
what they've got.
well, right, but if they don't wanna buy oil and they don't wanna buy wood, you know, that's kind of on them,
Yes.
you know, you need someone to look, and the electric heat is
That's when.
a source, it's just a scary source, as we all know. It's like putting a kerosene heater next to a stack of.
No. It's considered a temporary source. If Gary's furnace went out tonight, a temporary source would be electric heaters.
Right.
But once that heats, it should be restored within a reasonable time period is the way the court.
So the-
usually deem.
You're talking, portable electric heaters, because I mean, they sell legit baseboard electric heaters every day. Those are,
Anything that plugs into an outlet is
Okay.
supposed to be temporary.
So
so I think I agree with Todd and that we don't have the professional ability to make a say on this. I think, there needs to be a call to the state, health board, whatever.
Fire marshals.
Fire marshal, thank you, Todd.
Yeah.
And they can make a suggestion as to what should happen.
Right.
Give them a copy of your. report.
This, I mean. Okay,
So
this would have been,
you said you went in there once and all this stuff was there.
how long?
So the tenants have taken this stuff down now?
How long ago was it, was it 4 or 5 years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was.
was that when we
before-
responded to the dogs?
Yes.
Okay, I was there also with that one.
Need to do the inspection, but I can't remember.
That was quite a while ago, actually. I think that was probably closer to 7.
I think we need to do the inspection.
So.
So the-
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a
Right.
different tenant at the time.
And so what you're saying is smoke detectors that were there have been removed.
There's one above, when you walk in the front door.
But not removed by the landlord,
Hmm?
but not removed by the landlord.
Not, I keep.
Can't tell.
That's a he said, she said issue there.
It gets into this.
Yeah, yes, so if you make the motion,
I'll make the motion that we have our town health officers contact the Division of Fire Safety, Fire Marshal's office and ask them to come do the inspection ASAP.
I'll second that.
I was gonna say, I can't,
And the select board is sort of saying this is an emergency situation.
this,
That's what you need to
Yes.
tell them, yeah?
yes,
Not
Should
necessarily.
be.
not necessarily.
Yeah,
There's a lot that comes into play in this stuff.
we'll see what happens in 7 days. That's the understanding of what's gonna happen.
So the motion has been made and seconded.
Bill Sawyer goes right in.
The state
Additional
fire.
fire station.
People sitting right there.
To request inspection.
To request an immediate inspection.
It's no.
Yes, the
longer-
cooking systems.
So the motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye.
John seconded that, yes. So that's where it's going from here, Mr. Barnes. It's going to the state. They will look over the same report with educated eyes. And hopefully make a recommendation to us as a board. And this will probably require an emergency meeting
we'll see.
at some point, not too far. Yeah. So Ginger, if you could be in direct contact with Todd or myself, yeah.
But in the interim, if they do get, if they do get evicted and the building is empty, just let us
You need
know.
to be
They
now.
they did, correct?
They are evicted.
They're still there.
This friggin' state of the victim. Yeah.
That's the problem. You're,
I thought you said the sheriff already tacked
The
it on.
sheriff has already done that with the courts.
Okay.
Whether or not he comes out and does it.
Right.
The last sheriff, Norris,
Yeah.
that I had evict somebody, he didn't show up. I evicted him.
So,
Norris, no, he was pretty pissed at me, but.
so,
I will contact the tenants and inform them that this inspection has to be made, because they need to be notified that they're coming in.
Right.
So I'll take care of that for you.
I-
I'll let the tenants know that the division of fire safety is gonna go to the residents. That way.
Oh, I didn't think we were talking about that, I was talking about something else.
I had another question for this. I can't remember what it was. Should have wrote it down. Oh, can you get any, or if you have to come back, if we have to meet again and have the emergency meeting. Can you bring your documentation from your lawyer with you, please?
or a copy of the court order.
I could, yes, but I'm probably, chances are I'm not going back to another meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
They will not be in that house.
All right.
That house will disappear.
Just,
I'll take the criminal charges. They won't be in that friggin' house.
thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good day.
You too. Ginger, thank you. For all that you do.
You must have an agenda. Did you know you were next? I meant, no, I meant like you knew you were next on the list. No, not an agenda. Yeah, so I thought about how that sounded after I said it. I was like, no, that's.
Dragging chairs from all over the place. Well. Chairs are nice. Oh, there's more. Lights on, right?
The light is on.
You are good. It's like you've been here once or twice.
Well, I had one of these that I deal with, so I know how they work.
Good evening.
Well,
Excellent.
I'm, I guess he's taking this over.
What? We hear this with us tonight, we're members. Alice has made an ad hoc in the committee to go into this process.
Well, this,
No, I'm not a member, but she's been a fire.
I am not a member of the BCC. However, I am the person with Alice that got the assessment done, and I wanted to clarify because I read the minutes from your last meeting and I was a little alarmed at the information at that meeting. I'm kind of disappointed that Lance isn't here because a lot of that conversation, I think, was through him, but I believe he'll get the paperwork and hopefully be spoken to about this. I'm just quickly going to run through this just to make sure we're all on the same page. We applied for ARPA funds. We were turned down, but we were encouraged to get grants. We were also told that a 50-50 agreement with the town might happen. We're hoping will happen at some point. Upon research, we found that we needed to have an assessment in order to apply for any grant. So we found 50-50 assessment. You agreed after some discussion, as did the cemetery commission, to include the Hearst House, because the Charlotte Barrett, who came up and looked the whole thing over, really strongly advised us to do all three buildings. Now, remember, the BCC is only involved with the two buildings, the carriage barn and that little garage. Those are the two that we're looking at. We threw the third one in with your permission, just because it seemed like a good opportunity to do that. So we had the assessment done. And you can see on here the assessment findings. And this is where I really was alarmed, because what was being quoted was $240,000 for the Hearst House, which is not accurate. And it's concerning that that's what's being stated. So for the carriage barn, you can see that the high side is 75,000. For the little garage, the high side is 8,500. And for the Hearst House, the high side is 161,000. This does not mean that that's the kind of money that is necessarily going to be spent. This is what the assessment said. If you were to hire people to do all of this work, probably this is what it would run. Okay, so, and the BCC is not involved in any way in the Hearst House. That is not our project.
So
I think that-
241,000 was for all three projects added
Exactly.
together is what was said, because I'm the guy who said it.
Exactly. And
Okay,
then-
so
Was that,
Lance and I were talking.
right, but was that a miscommunication that made to the minutes?
No,
Because I remember you saying there was the total.
correction. Yeah, it was a total of all three projects.
I didn't
together.
remember him saying that was just for the Hearst House. I mean, I thought that the quote that these numbers came from was very well broken out and very easy to read. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think when we were talking about the Hearst House, I think what we were trying to figure out was, we had already talked with Linda and oh, I'm drawing a blank. Mr. Willie, yeah, about getting materials and labor donated. And I think the discussion was more along the lines of how much are we going to be able to cut back because of the donations and materials and labor. So,
Well, if you haven't read your minutes, you might want to, because that's not what it says in the minutes.
okay.
Well,
Confused as
we
to-
did amend the minutes. We did amend the minutes. Oh, I know what I said. We had a conversation. I said the total project is $241,000.
Total project.
The only one forgiven from this whole conversation is Terry, who didn't make the meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you're good. You're good.
So the
Huh?
total- the
Dark
total-
here.
the total project wasn't the Hearst House. The
No.
total project was all.
Was all
three.
got together.
Correct.
If you add in 75,000 and 161,000, you're at 230,
We're pretty close.
236,000. You add in the 8,500, that's in 243,000.
Yes, the last.
No,
one-
no.
No.
No,
No.
no, the presentation was
total.
all three quotes.
Right, it was all.
And we
three.
discussed all three quotes, and I said, I literally turned to Lance and I said, this is 200, about 200, and I was doing fast math. I didn't have a moment.
I don't think that was your.
That was the meeting we were talking. That's the meeting I said 241,000 at.
That was a meeting before.
Okay, 2 meetings ago, that was me, and I added all three in.
Because I
Yeah.
did watch that. meeting.
I added all three together,
And
and that's why I said
You're
total.
accurate in that.
Yeah.
However,
Just you
it
and me.
moved from that to
And
the
Lance.
House being 240. That's my understanding of what was said at the last meeting.
I have to look at the last meeting because I don't remember that.
I remember talking about 240,000, but I thought, I knew it was the entire,
They say it's not.
it's not, no, it's.
It's 61, so let's argue for the next hour over that.
And-
Well,
It's right there in black and white.
I don't know what was said with Lyle, but I just wanted to be.
But
really
the Hearst House is not in this period.
It's not
Correct.
our.
So
it has
Gone.
nothing to
you're
do-
referencing
Gone,
the
no
Lance
Hearst
and Lyle
House,
conversation?
Say again,
You're referencing the Lance and Lyle conversation at the
that was in
meeting?
the minutes. Yes, I am.
Okay, all right.
That's exactly. what I'm saying,
Yeah,
which
I'll have to
was
look.
last-
I think the confusion, we were talking about the Hearst House being part of.
Correct.
And not-
I think the key,
That's where the confusion.
Say one thing here,
Okay,
it was not with the permission totally of the select board, that the Hearst House got done. Conservation Committee approached the Cemetery Commission and asked if we wanted to participate in having structural engineer.
That's what, that's what she just stated.
Yeah.
It is on the paper.
Yeah.
Said, okay,
Yes.
we do, but we did get call and all of the civil service commission was on board having that happen because it would help us get
Yes, yep,
Right.
you're very, very well aware of that.
And the questions I had during that meeting were with the structural changes, specifically with some of the requests was, are we putting this back to original? Remember I said, is this going original or are we updating? And it was updated and there's a lot of moving pieces with this. The grant matching, you know, piece of it, I don't think we have 241,000, even if we wanted to match it, we couldn't. So that's the reality on the
And our
project.
understanding was that that was for the carriage barn.
There's 75,000.
The matching.
What initially we talked about matching when you guys said you were going out, we said we would match the cost that it takes you to go get the assessment done. Right? And that was 600 was that $621 to get the assessment? On the ARPA earlier, that the money was the money that we had left over, we were moving to try to match grants, right? And that's what we're trying to maximize, double down the money is what the whole thought process was.
Because we have some other news.
Okay,
Right, we do.
Good.
Yeah.
well, that's good. news.
Excellent.
We hope it's good news, but, yeah, this is basically, John asked if we could put to a vote that if they get a grant, we will match the ARPA funds
Mhm.
with ARPA funds. And Josh said they will, have to come back and apply for the next round. And as it turns out, there was never a next round.
No,
So I believe that there was a date put on this earlier that says as long as it is in before the year 2024. So
spend,
it's in
right.
your minutes. I've got it because I looked it up.
No,
because I
you're
was,
right.
like, relying on my memory, which wasn't necessarily great.
You're 100% right.
So Pat now has some more.
Well, I was gonna say, well, I'm gonna go on with what you're gonna probably talk about, which is to say,
You go ahead.
the grant, I wasn't very much involved, except that I heard somebody stewing in the corner of my room that we were sitting in. That grants just did not seem to be available. It was very hard. Nothing seemed to fit at all in
Right.
projection down the line. Then they found a grant that sounds very sweet.
It's called the Broom Lit Grant. It's between $50,000 and $100,000. The only thing that we were sort of trying to avoid was having to be on the historic register. But it sounds like it's gonna be part of the deal. However, we can apply for the grant as long as the building is deemed eligible, which I'm sure it is. So that isn't an issue. But what we've decided is that because the grant is due on the 21st of December, which is a really short window.
Okay.
And
Don't forget, this is not a matching grant.
no,
either.
it is not. a
Okay.
match. This is all,
Mhm.
hopefully, well, who knows, but anyways. So we decided that we want to hire Alex Barkley. And we would like to split the cost with the select board, only because the BCC really doesn't have funds for this.
Mhm.
And he told me roughly $60 an hour, roughly 10 hours. So we're looking at maybe $600.
Mhm.
And I think that the BCC has agreed they pay 300 if the select board would agree to pay 300, there you go, $300. It may be less. I know that it's hard when you're voting on an amount, but I think we can say, is that okay with you? That's
So-
okay.
And from what I understand, this is nothing is a short thing.
Right.
But all the people they suggested the grant and made
Well,
recommendations. It's not like we're-
from the state, everybody seems to know that building, even this fellow I called at one point about another detail. Said, oh, I've seen those 3 buildings when I drove through Bakersfield, and they were quite impressed. And everybody's impressed, and I think really rooting for us to try and get this done, so that's.
So if it's on a historic registry, it has to be restored to the original or?
It's not gonna get.
Right?
Okay.
So-
As much as we can't tear things out that are there,
Mhm.
and we have to replace with light materials, for instance, the windows are made out of wood. We can't put vinyl windows and we have to put wood windows. Those kinds of things.
Okay.
Probably another way.
Okay, so what I'm. Yeah,
certainly look the same on the outside or in the inside as much as possible.
Look a lot better.
Yeah, well, it'll look a lot better on the outside and on the inside. of course.
So just to be clear, what you're asking for is for us to match your sum for Alex to do the grant writing.
Yeah.
That's what you're requesting. Your estimate is approximately $300 for our portion. So what I'm gonna do is I will make a motion for the select board to match out of the ARPA funds the grant writing fees not to exceed $500. That way, if it goes above, you know, if he comes in at $750 instead of, I don't want to pigeonhole us at 300 and then. So not to exceed $500 for our half.
I'll second that.
Okay. I can't technically call the vote because
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Carries 4-0.
I really hope that Alex can do this and you guys can get this, because that would be really great for. Excellent.
Very good.
Yeah, we just have to get his paperwork in so we can pay him for the first grant he wrote.
Right.
He's gotta give us all the paperwork.
You know, if we keep giving him jobs, maybe that'll entice him to get that paperwork.
That's right. Alice?
We were invited here by you folks to discuss.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the hiring stuff that Vera.
One more.
Yeah.
Okay, what was
The
that?
Vera package.
Yes.
Suggestion.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
there was one other thing.
Yes.
So when, and the other half of the group is here, which is good. When we talked back in the spring, I think it was, about Lyle and the Stones joining the BCC. Okay, yeah, like, I'm getting older, you know. So oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So at that time, we had said something about, you know, it being more like a
Subcommittee.
sort of a subcommittee within the, so, one of the things that Lyle came to us, the select board, and asked was if we would support him in heading that subcommittee within your group. That way, the stuff that happens on the parks is not your headache when you're thinking about the trail systems and these buildings over here. So he's volunteered to head that subcommittee part with the other folks that are interested in the park beautification. That says I'm having a hard time hearing people talking to the select board.
Oh,
Okay,
That turned on.
Gentleman's wearing a mask.
yeah, we do have, there's one person wearing a mask, which may make it hard, and it sounds like he might have a little bit of a throat laryngitis type deal, so that he may be hard to hear, so we'll try to reiterate what's being said if we can. What we were hoping to do is just discuss that with you and see if that was something that you were open to, as you know, the BCC having a subcommittee for parks.
Right. He
Which-
volunteered, if you want, he wanted to put
Right.
his name forward to be the liaison, right? To be the
Right.
liaison between the groups.
Right.
The cemetery, the BCC and the parks. or
Not cemetery.
Not cemetery.
Not cemetery.
BCC and the parks, I
Yeah.
CCC, I think cemetery. Just those two groups. He said he'd like to put his name in there as a suggestion. We're not telling you to put him in there. He's available if you want to talk to him. We're just passing it on.
that's an open.
Okay.
No,
I will pass it, we will pass. it.
Excellent.
Okay.
Well-
2009, we have a Bakersfield Conservation Commission, and, you know, rules of procedure there. And there's nothing listed between our board decision, or committee decisions and relating to you.
Mhm.
So if this should happen, we would not, it isn't clear. We currently speak to you directly.
Correct.
You still would, Alice. We're
Still
not,
would,
we're
yeah.
just saying, the liaison would be between the BCC and the park team. There would be someone there to help be the mediary between both of you, or the head up both, just be the conduit for conversation. I don't know how to put it.
So why couldn't we just do this? Leave those guys the way they are. Okay,
Right,
Lisa and I, as far as the flowers, that's all we're interested in. Okay. Is taking care of the garden for the flowers.
Mhm.
We're not mowing the lawn or anything. This whole thing got separated from the cemetery.
Right.
Okay.
right,
So now we're all tangled up.
yeah, right.
It's all we want. Is money for flowers. I don't
Yeah.
care about it.
And all Lyle is saying is that he is willing to work with you guys and be at all your gatherings and then bring information to the BCC.
Would then come down.
That way,
It doesn't seem like Lyle is that much on board.
Okay.
And, you know, he wants to do this, but he did nothing.
I think,
Okay.
We got invited.
So you've been going to the meetings?
So,
My suggestion is to, if things are working the way they are,
Put the way there.
carry on.
I'd rather work with these guys than say, you know, whatever you guys want to do.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
these-
The way it was kind of presented is that there might have been some communication. Either snafus or mishaps or disconnects. If that's not the case, carry on, continue doing the great job, keeping Bakersfield beautiful, because I think the park benches, the flowers, everything out there that you guys have done looks awesome.
But I think.
The
when-
trails, I've never used the trails, I'm sorry, I do enough outdoor walking, but
I think the other thing is, you know, like. They separated the park from the
Cemetery.
cemetery, okay? So back years ago, I guess, everything was park, cemetery, got money, then it all got joined together, so all the money went to one organization. Now. That organization isn't gonna be taking care of the park,
right,
so there should be some money out of that back to the park.
I think that's why we
I
tried to
agree. I
kind of
agree.
do the BCC, because they already had the funds and we were trying to find a conduit without having to make a whole new bucket, if I remember, right,
So.
which started this whole thing.
So in other words, what I'm hearing is. You're gonna take some funds from the cemetery. And give it to these people.
Or the
Yeah.
flowers, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
And
that's what
they
should
will
happen.
distribute it, whatever, to the flowers.
Right, you're gonna say how much you need. They're gonna add it to the amount they're
No, no,
gonna skip for.
no, what he's saying is out
we
of
put
the
previous.
previous funds. For. Like what they would have here.
Right, oh, you're saying take it out of the current bank account and move it.
And move it to the BCC, yeah.
The cemetery.
Cemetery.
Oh, no.
I,
So could I ask,
The cemetery. You're gonna-
So-
You're gonna go to the town meeting this year, you're gonna ask for money.
Yeah, but we.
Why, yeah.
Yeah, well.
But there is monies already put in the cemetery from the town for that
for 2024, right?
That was for the park.
Is that a lot of the
in
year?
2023.
So-
Been back to funds.
Well, no, what you said.
For 60 years, the cemetery account has carried the park,
Right.
okay, above and beyond,
But
what
you were the
comes
one
there,
that told us
okay.
that there used to be two accounts. And then they,
Yeah,
again,
then it-
and that money went to the center.
and that money has been spent.
But every year, the
But what?
cemetery has to ask so many.
it was like 80 years ago, it could have been on anything.
You put money in that account every year,
So we.
We have a contract.
so don't put money in the cemetery this year.
So Ivan, just a quick, like,
I just-
no, I understand where you're coming from. I see exactly what you're saying, like years ago, it was two separate, it got combined. Now we're separating it again, but all the money's staying in one pot. I mean, I would love to go back 60 years and see what that was, because it was probably like $45. And inflation and everything, it'd be worth like a couple hundred now maybe, but
But
I like, so what are you? My question would be like, what do you need to do that you need money
The
for?
flowers.
She has the price right now of the flowers for next year.
Okay.
That she has to ask for the town now.
Right.
I mean, just to get the
To
gas.
get them
going,
right.
Yep.
So she can order.
Okay,
Have the lady order.
okay. So they need to be ordered. When's your deadline, Lisa?
It's just
Okay,
the plan
got-
coming in.
So what's the number? Okay,
That's been done in
right. So for next year's flowers, so for 2025 flowers, you will be putting that in the budget that you asked for in March. Just so that we're clear, so we don't run into this again.
Right,
Obviously, you didn't know that because you weren't combined.
right.
That's, yep, no, that's fine.
It's put requested on town meeting.
So right now. Oh, that's BCA, not BCC. No, no,
No,
no,
No.
No, they need to hit
No.
for 2025 because they need to order them in
That's what we're voting
January.
in.
we're
So-
gonna pay for 2020.
It'll be
now.
yeah.
time frame.
This is where our town's budget and being
Like
well, not just tight, but behind
Right,
confusing.
road expense,
trying to find it.
right? What is the BCC's? I can't find it right now. That should be right here. Yeah, why am I not seeing that? Zoning, planning, oh, conservation.
No, you don't. Park water bill, no.
No, Bakersfield Conservation Committee right now is 2,200 in it,
That's the BCC's funds.
Oh, those are probably.
right here.
Over the. Yeah.
There. Accounts within the general fund.
Yeah, but that's the BCC's funds, right?
Yes.
We just combined them.
So what do we have?
This is for reposting Boston Post, okay. Yeah.
So in the general fund right now,
I was trying to find it. I couldn't find it.
flags for Memorial Day,
Yeah,
flowers. So
we're trying to find you $600.
at this point,
Why don't you do it out of purpose?
at this point right now, we had that. go back to Monday. So unless both of the people die in the next month,
So you can order your flowers in January.
Oh,
right? Can we use that?
I don't know why not.
So, okay, so right now,
Correct.
not knowing that this was gonna happen, obviously. We do have a flowers budget that is typically for members of the town who have either passed, and we will send a bouquet to funerals, stuff like that. We have been extremely lucky this year,
Better be careful.
and we had, yeah, I know. We have. Well, if you, I'm trying to think
Someone
of,
has a baby.
no, it's only deaths.
What?
Okay, yes,
The other end of the cycle.
yeah, it's,
Employee.
yeah, like, for example, when Teague passed away,
Right.
there was a bouquet that was sent on behalf of the town. Now, there's, I'm not gonna say what I was just gonna say, because I'm just not gonna say it. But there's $500 in that account
We could use.
that I think
I don't think.
we can pull that $500. I'm not worried about that.
Right.
And put that towards it,
I agree.
which leaves us $100 and something shy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that will not be hard to find $100 in our budget. So
What you're saying is we're gonna commit to
We're
giving you
gonna-
$600
Yes.
so that you can order your
Order.
flowers in January. And then it's your responsibility
They have
to
to be
get
ordered.
on town
You-
meeting.
you
day.
making that
I'll
a
make the
motion?
motion. I'm just reaffirming what. you're
yeah,
saying.
we do have a question in the back though.
Yeah. We- I think the, well,
Yeah, this is fairly,
$600. There was a donation. There was a donation made
Yeah, by that.
By-
that Cold Hollow,
Yeah.
Community Collective, I don't know, when was that? In the
There's
summer?
also
Summer.
Yeah, we gave a donation of a couple $100.
rail
That's-
either way
that's
under,
what-
Yeah.
I
So
think
we're-
we
we're
can-
good, yeah.
I know where it is.
So Lisa, so my suggestion would be to, and I guess you can make this,
Make the motion.
go ahead.
I'd like to make the motion to ensure that we have the funds to supply the $600 required to order the flowers in January for the Town Park Commission.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Just keep in
So-
mind, get it in before March. It's got to get on town meeting day and figure,
So-
add some.
so-
percentage.
So when you sit down with Mr. Evans and the BCC comes up with the number that they are looking for next year, I can't remember how much, do you remember how much you asked for last year, Pat? Huh?
We asked for 500 for it.
500? So what you will want to do is you will want to get the number, you know, if it's $600, then then the BCC will then ask for $1,100. And within your group, $500 is for BCC, $600 is for flowers and park beautification.
Let's patch them bump the number.
Unless Pat bumps the number, but I mean. It's voted on by the town and like I said, and many people have said, there's been so many comments and
Good it looks.
all good about how well the park looks and how good everything is being taken care of and.
Another. Footnote.
Yes.
You know, there's some public spirited people that donated the benches for the park.
Right.
Correct.
And we had two more.
Two more coming.
Okay.
Really, two more?
Is that per, that's, no,
I would say no.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
great.
Right.
Yeah,
And,
for the spring.
Excellent. I think, yep, Ivan, you did a great job installing those. They look. Nope,
You're fine. You're doing
nope,
great.
that's your baby. That's all you know. You stepped forward and you were willing to take it on and that's what we need in this town and we appreciate it greatly.
You guys have done a great
Um,
job. I think.
So, when you get the invoice, just bring it in,
Give it to
and
Amy.
put it down as, yeah, put it in as flowers.
Right.
And if she has any questions, just tell her to check the minutes. Yeah, we'll clarify it for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know,
Brigham Academy, that's not out of any of us, right? For these lawyers.
You're okay now? Did
we
you
have to pay it, but we got
Sorry?
reimbursed.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Remember in the record.
Have a good night.
Conservation Committee.
No.
No. Cemetery
Turn it
Commission.
like they turned it off. Thank
We're
you.
gonna have to start spelling these things out. If we have this many in a day.
See, I said, what's the country club coming for?
Well, some people call it a country club, I guess.
This doesn't feel like a country club to me.
okay,
No.
Maybe they're complaining back there.
like the conservation committee, the cemetery committee was shocked and frustrated when we listened to the minutes and saw the minutes from the last meeting. Wasn't on the agenda, had it been, we would have tuned in and participated then.
On
But
what?
the message.
I wasn't
got
here.
across
Yeah, we'll get there.
that the cemetery commission, because it uses the Hearst House in the care of the cemetery, is authorized to spend cemetery funds to maintain the Hearst House.
Okay.
And if that's still a question in your mind, you could ask League of Cities and Towns. We did the research, and then we're putting it in writing, a memorandum for the record that says the same. It's our responsibility. We do have authorization to spend our funds.
Cemetery Commission funds.
Funds can be spent to maintain
That was
the
the
Hearst
confusing
House.
part.
Okay.
And
Even though you don't own it.
here,
They don't, yeah.
Right.
I'm just asking because this is totally different than what you came and told us before, Linda.
we don't own it.
The commission owns nothing. The
Okay.
select board owns nothing. There's no deed in our public records that have made out to the cemetery commission or the select board. It's always the county. When it comes to the cemetery commission, cemeteries, whether it be Maple Grove or Cook Cemetery or the First House, it comes under the authority of the cemetery commission because we're elected officials for that purpose. Like the select board is elected officials to take care of the town hall, Brigham Academy, the roads, all this other stuff.
Total different story than what you came in with before.
I don't think so. Different interpretation.
It might have been different interpretation, I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
So
so,
in the, in Bakersfield's, on Bakersfield's website, there's a nice little handy handbook. It's provided by the League of Cities and Towns. It tells what the duties and responsibilities of all town officials are. And it kind of defines it better, so give you a better understanding.
I think the confusing part, Linda, is that we kind of understood in that meeting that the cemetery commission couldn't pay for any upgrades or
Well, we
upkeep
did
of
have-
the Hearst House. And I think that's where the confusion came in.
It was a confusion for us too,
Right.
because we didn't have that
Right.
clarified. Instead of shooting from the hip, we did our research.
Good. No,
And our
that's good.
research says, because the building is used in support.
Okay,
It's kind of like your town garage
right,
down
right.
here.
That makes sense with what you're
Okay.
saying now. Yeah.
So for the record.
Yep.
In writing,
Thank you, Linda.
we are references.
so sign. So what this means, and I just want to make sure that this is clear. So what this means is that if the Hearst House needs any repairs or upkeep, it will be budgeted for and paid for by the cemetery commission.
Exactly.
Okay,
Perfect. No,
that is,
Bottom line.
make sure that,
yeah.
The last meeting that I
Thanks,
came,
Linda.
that was what was said. The town owns it, we maintain it, and you said, you're absolutely right. I know that was said, I know that.
And that's-
But I know it was.
that's kind of been the understanding, but then there's been other times where there's been requests for funds and we're like, this isn't jiving with what we're thought. So, this. Yes,
The cemetery commission will spend their funds on it.
correct.
Or obtain grant money to do the
Right.
same.
Right, right.
Or paying, grant money.
Okay.
to do
So what I had also told Lance at that last meeting, because I gotta tell you folks, that meeting was chaotic. You had so many people talking at the same time that it was hard to hear what was going on. But I made eye contact with Lance and I told him what we were doing with the Hearst House right now. We have contacted Mike Lanfear. Conservation Committee has contacted Mike Lanfear. If you know Mike, he's been fighting cancer and some problems. And I talked to him on Friday. He is cancer free. He's had one knee replacement. He is anxious to get started on this project. We need to get some grant money, and we are also going after the Paul Broom grant. And we're also working with a professor at UVM who had been asked to get some grad students to update the application to put the Hearst House on the registry of historic buildings.
Okay,
That got done except for putting pictures in, and except for an error that said it was owned by the cemetery commission. And it made it in their application that it was privately owned,
okay.
and it's county.
It's municipality owned. Yep.
Exactly.
Okay. Is that a hard,
Hard fix, hard
yeah.
correction, not at this point.
okay, good.
Right, so they know that that's an error and they're gonna update that or?
Still talking to the professor and the guy at Vermont Historic Preservation. Any questions, concerns?
I don't think so. I think this
Comment,
is what we have, what the most of the discussion has been about.
Yes,
Who owns it and who pays for it, and
yes.
Just clarify.
this clarifies it, and
I saw it on that application and I was going like,
yeah, it's,
this is,
I think this has been a battle since the word Hearst House came out, and I'm,
So I'm separating the two and about the
Yep,
funds
yep.
there. And I had to do a lot of digging through Secretary of States and League of Cities and Towns to find that.
Yep.
Buildings associated with the care also. So Narragansett gave the land that it's sitting on for a Hearst House. Should anything happen to that Hearst House, another building can be put there for the purpose of supporting the cemetery.
Thank
all right. Question?
No, he just. Not the way down.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Right.
Right. So is it?
I'm not understanding though, what's this got to do with any of it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can be. We don't have to worry about anyone.
Who's the ARPA administrator?
That's what I said.
I think, yeah, I think, so maybe she just ask her if she needs, just to clarify it. For Linda, can you get you? No, John just has, he wants to make sure that we're clear on
funds.
funding. Yeah.
So, and this goes for any group. At the end of the process that we put out the money for the ARPA funds, we were going to move funds into a grant writing fund. We would match grant writing funds.
Yes.
Yes.
I think somewhere along the line, we've kind of blurred and people make kind of like little comments and they're like, oh yeah, it's matching funds. It's for grant writing.
Right.
And it's a key point because there's not a lot of money in there. So let's just pretend John wants to do something with the funds and he says, you said that you would match a grant. I got a grant for $50,000. I need 50,000. It's not there.
Right.
This is grant matching funds
Writing.
for the writing
Right.
of
That's the
said
Right.
grants, right?
So for example, the $600 that was just approved,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem is when people say it, they say it fast and they forget to put in here, the key is it's for grant writing matching
Yes.
funds.
so if in the notes,
Yeah.
we could make that bold
Yeah.
and italicized. We just,
There's not that much funds, like even the.
Yeah.
5,000.
We're still there, but the problem is some of these things are so big.
Didn't you pay for the engineer?
We paid for, we
We-
still have
paid
45,000 left. It was 45,006 and change.
so we paid for the $600, which was our half of the grant writing appraisal.
Cemetery Commission thanks you for the
Right.
250 towards Daniel Investigations.
Yep,
It's
and just like, they just came in and they're gonna look at that other one with Alex,
And I think
That's-
shocked
Yep.
is we can't go any further with doing anything to that building because on the grant it said, have the repairs been started?
We wanna say no,
No.
Okay.
okay,
What about the whole cut in the floor?
the holes.
Oh,
That
they're
was
over
right.
there.
That's why we need it repaired.
That's where it fell through when they were pulling it out to take it down to Shelburne Farms.
Those are the material measurements.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Yeah,
Whatever need be, but yeah, but yeah, this is the fund is covering like the cost for Alex to do the grant writing,
Okay.
the batching.
What? The holes in these.
We I'm looking at screens. We can't go any further or adjourn that building, we have to say no to water grid. Right. No repair.
okay,
Yeah. So we're
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
good, good.
Put any of that in the minutes.
And perfect,
Thank you.
yeah, as I say, it's all there.
As always.
Excellent.
You have a good day.
It's just a.
Where are we at?
We are
We're on E.
E,
Okay, hang on, I lost the agenda. There we go. E. Will Brownsman,
Roseman.
I'm sorry. I put that in there. Community wealth development.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
Is Will Roseman.
Someone here for Will Brosman?
no.
Okay, so.
Not attending.
Scratch.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Thanks for coming.
There is well, not a meeting, that'll be on the board business. Go ahead.
Okay,
Mac.
Mac, my guess would be out on the roads,
Yeah.
since it's,
Probably.
I would imagine it's a little slick out there in some spots. I know I was in Enosburg the other day when we got,
I'm going,
So
yes,
I know we don't have a road report. I did want to put in here the Boston Post speed limit sign.
that's C, we're not there yet.
We don't have a road report.
We're not there yet, it's C.
All right.
We'll get there.
I skipped B because I thought we were already done B last time.
We talked, we got to get an update from Todd.
Oh,
Todd?
you have an update?
Yeah,
I
Todd,
got an update.
There you go.
there.
We've got to go through the process, but
in here on that, on the stagecoach.
So we're looking to. Well, we gotta, we have to get an order of operations is our next step, okay? That's where we're at.
it's on that VCA LT.
Yes.
I was just asked this question. So that is a class 4 road right now?
Yes.
A portion of it, yes.
We don't maintain any of it, correct?
No.
We're not plowing or anything like that on it. And that goes all the way through.
All the way up to Sam Hudson's Four Corners on the top of,
Okay, that's what I thought.
This
yes.
is our test.
Some people were stopped from going on that and I said, no,
Still a town road.
that is a town road from 108 all the way to Kings Hill.
I got told someone's been putting something across the road beyond the house. and
Okay,
That's blocking people from being able to use the road.
Yes.
That's what I got told.
well, we,
So we should have
We
Matt
do have-
kind of take a peek.
we
at
do
that.
have yeah, we have somebody that can go look at
Yep.
that.
Just,
I was just gonna ask if anybody's had it.
And probably what we should do is send a letter
we're going to.
to that household, letting them know that that road cannot be blocked.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
If that's the case.
Send a
Blocking.
letter to them.
no, is it blocking?
Oh, no, it was the
Okay,
people.
the other ones.
Oh,
okay.
sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just curious, yeah, because I know that road does get use, especially this time of year
Yeah.
for access to
Yep.
camps and
Yep.
stuff, so.
Yep.
I wasn't sure.
Ron,
Deanna or Rodney, are you guys there by any chance?
Yes, I'm here.
Have you guys had any trouble accessing? the-
No,
No, okay,
no.
okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay.
That's great. That's the type of stuff, we like. Okay. So, yes, for road reclassification, Todd has an order of operations that can we do that next meeting, you think?
Try to, yeah.
We do have a law on here, so that one's, and yes, that does include. Yep, you can keep
We'll
moving that.
need the names.
So.
We'll need those.
So, yeah, if you can get
anyone
Todd,
that Borders that road.
anybody who touches it, yep,
Yes, they have to get a letter.
yep.
But we thought it was only like 2, right?
Three, I
It's-
think.
yeah,
at
it's
the most,
not
yeah,
many.
there's not
Yep.
that.
That's why it was the one to try.
They do,
They
Yeah.
border,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, they're ones.
and then Reynolds, and then
I'm not sure if or is it Maple Horizon? I think may have some property on the top.
Yeah, so.
oh, okay.
Maple Horizon bought out.
Just to see.
Maple Horizon bought out Sam Hudson's
Right,
chunk
right.
on the mountains up there for most of it, I should say.
Think
Do we want to wait for a note taker to come back?
No, she's just getting that for Todd, so he knows who we need to notify.
All right,
We knew it wasn't a long list, so.
yeah, that's why.
Road, classification,
No.
post road speed limits. I got your email stating that you would like the signs moved.
There's a couple things. One, the signs need to be moved
Oh,
on
okay.
both sides of Birchway.
Okay.
Birch,
There's
Birch
five.
Lane.
right.
Yep.
The problem is it's not in the middle of the road. The 40's at the beginning,
Sorry, I forgot 10.
right, which I agree with Todd. We need to move the one on the Jarvis Park side a little bit more in
Up
because
towards above
I'm
the
looking
barn.
for it. I can see it, but you know.
Right now, they get it,
Which cat
it's
is
where
this?
if you come off which cat.
It's right there.
You're not gonna see it.
Okay,
Yeah,
So I think if we put it up above the barn.
okay.
yeah.
Well, that-
Not to be in the way of getting to their fields, but
Yeah.
look at that, that area. So.
Well, that is where we had asked them to put it, was in
Yeah.
that section of woods there, so it wasn't blocking their view to come out with equipment and stuff.
Right. No, it's in a bad spot. And then the other two aren't in the center. You know, the one isn't that bad. The one heading from Enosburg, the one heading from Enosburg to Bakersfield is probably not that bad. It's,
Right.
Where about that one?
How drive too fast on that road. I haven't even noticed.
Marky asked me that day, and I told him to put it back where the other sign was before.
Yeah.
If you remember, there was a sign that was cut off. So
Okay.
he stopped at the clubhouse and I said, just put it somewhere around where that other sign was, figuring it would give them warning before they got to the actual outfall of the
Okay,
clubhouse.
so are we talking up by
I
like,
think he just wants to
Aaron-
move it down.
Yeah, if we
up
were-
by like Aaron Wrights, or are we talking?
I think the center of the total run is Birch, right? So
Okay.
we just put them both on both sides of Birch will be good.
Yeah.
The one is you come up the hill from Bakersfield and you have the 40 mile and you crest the hill and then you go up. I don't even want to say it's 200 feet. And you got the second sign.
Yeah.
And then you have no sign the whole drag. It's
Okay.
like, this is a little.
I
silly.
agree, it can be.
We need
So-
to get more center.
Is the first one down below Ovid's driveway? Because I feel like the 40 mile an hour sign should be before you get to any houses.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's before the houses.
no, I think it's right at Ovid's, just
It may
before
be,
Ovid's
yeah.
driveway.
It is,
It's-
okay.
yeah, It's
So
either
it's-
just before or just after, I mean,
Okay,
it's
so
in that
it's-
general
yeah.
area.
All right, and then the next one you said
Next
goes
one
straight
is
on the golf course?
Well, it's almost, it's pretty much.
And the apple trees.
Yeah.
on the golf course.
Oh, okay.
You know, so
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
the car
It's too
crosses.
close.
Which,
It's silly.
Yeah,
It's great for saying, hey,
right.
either leave that one there, move the first one to Birch, or move that one to Birch, but you're riding most of the road with no. 40 mile an hour.
I didn't think I should have put them both across from each other.
Yeah.
They're within.
yeah,
Yeah, and that way you get the full 40. Well, we got a whole new problem. One of the signs are down.
But one of the signs been taken down, so I thought Marky was getting ready to maybe move it.
oh, he might, did he?
The sign just saw it today, there's no sign.
Bolted on the ground.
Is it on, it's on the ground.
I was on it the other day. It's
Yeah.
coming under the snow now.
And yeah, and the other problem, the other thing I think is very weird. Is the signs are on the post, they're down this far on the post. I don't know why we did that.
How tall are the posts?
They're
The same size as
standard.
every other.
Well, I just
Yeah.
wasn't sure if there was like a standard height that the signs had to be at.
So I asked Mac, I went in on a Thursday, I think it was, and Alan and Mac were in
I
there.
just wasn't sure, maybe the post was taller.
And they were just like, Mac was like, I just told them to hang the signs up and Alan was like, I kind of just, I'm like, look, if you look at every other state sign, the top rivet is at the top hole. We're sitting down this far on the sign and I'm looking at going,
I think
it's
they're the same
aesthetics,
as-
right? But it's
they're the
weird.
Same as our crossing sign.
Okay,
So there's
It just needs to
okay.
be fixed. They
Okay.
need to be- I asked Max to do this 3
Yeah.
or 4 Thursdays ago now, so
But
I figured he may be waiting to get the okay from the rest of the board, because
Yeah, I
I'm like,
think he
you need to
wanted to
fix
hear
this,
from
but. I figured he'd be here tonight so I could point at him.
Yeah.
But don't hear from
And
him.
like I said, it is my fault on the other one, because I kind of
I-
just,
I don't
I
know.
was doing something, I said, just put it by the, where the other sign.
yeah, and I'm not sure what they need what they use for equipment for setting the posts or anything. Do they just?
It's pretty fast. Post hole bigger.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
We'll think about it.
Use the bucket.
There's a sign, I don't know if you, and you may not write down this far, but
This guy spends too much time reading the signs.
Yeah.
headed towards Enosburg, there's another pole with no sign on it. I don't know what used to be
That
there.
used to be one of the golf course signs that
Someone borrowed it.
Yeah,
Which,
but that.
going towards Enosburg or coming back like Bakersfield?
Towards Enosburg.
Headed toward you.
That may be a good spot for the 40 mile an hour sign. Just take the sign off and, well, did that happen? Are we sure the 40 mile an hour sign didn't get moved up?
It's
No,
not moved.
No, it's
Okay.
not.
No,
It's
it's
gonna be
just-
moving around.
All right.
It was light. I'm like, what is it, 40 mile an hour?
You should see it in the dark too, just saying.
Yeah,
No, so that's what's going on over there.
it's what I noticed today.
Oh, okay, all right.
So, okay, so if we could just let Mac know to move those signs more central to Birch.
You,
I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you, kid. I was looking at your kid.
Yeah.
I already asked him to move them once and he didn't, so.
Should be more visible and sediment. I didn't.
There you go.
I didn't show where-
Speed limit.
I feel like that's part of the job over there, you.
Mac and I already talked. It's like if they put the.
You want me to text him?
I don't
Feel
think-
like,
Sure, tell them to move the darn signs. There you go.
Yeah.
Tell them we talked about it and we want the sign.
I'm doing it
Josh,
as we
he's
speak.
wearing the hat right now. The man's got the hat.
All right, any others on the road?
That's done. Any others on the, Mac, you have any others on the road? Hold it down, Mac.
Bakersfield, what the hell?
Alright. Alright, someone remind me what RDAG stands for?
All right, Ag?
Development map.
Yeah, hang on.
That was the Lance wanted that, so you might want to postpone
I
that.
think that's, yeah. till
Yeah,
next
it's the
meeting.
scratch.
That's, yep.
That's that Curtis told you for.
Ratification of contract for general service agreement between the town and Gerard Design. That's also Lance, isn't it?
Yeah,
Education.
didn't we? He's waiting on.
there a thing in there about that? I think there's you guys might want to ratify.
Oh, that was the thing that Lance said last meeting, that remember he told us there was
We had to get it
something that
done.
wasn't done right, that he had to get redone.
It is, it's straight here. Okay,
What's it
So
say?
the last board
Yeah.
meeting, we had no money left.
You get them, Terry.
I would like to read it, thank you.
Right.
this
right,
is, yeah,
Right, but they weren't recorded in the minutes, so you have to do.
Ah,
Yeah.
They're gonna have to represent them. What year were they approved?
they're right here.
Why you hitting me? Terry wanted to see it first. We're gonna let our financial advisor read it
I
first.
feel like this is new mail.
And she'll get me and come back. No, wait, she's reading.
Just as short, I think he reworded some of this where there was some wording that was missing, is what I understood, or wasn't.
It says Josh
Right.
Goss is the one to ratify it.
It's because they need one person to sign it.
You're the
It's just
guy.
like, it's just like they had me as the person that was going in and putting all the crap in
Right,
the computer.
because you're the chair. that's
Right.
why.
Well, we could have nominated anybody to do it.
But they
Which
didn't.
is the
You
head.
always Pick the select.
Right, so what I did is I said, let's re-ratify that and make it Lance. Because Lance is, he's doing all the paperwork, he might as well just hit the button at the bottom instead of sending it to me saying, it's good to go.
Why does it say former select board chair? You quit?
Maybe,
At this rate, look
That's
at him. It's a blood pressure pill. Look at him. He's turning right over here.
where would you like them?
Can we hop over B and C for the?
No, we have a question from the
Birch.
on roads.
Why- Headed towards, obviously on both sides of Birch, because that's the,
Okay, let me,
he actually already knows.
heading towards Enosburg.
Both sides of the road.
She's nice.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Heading towards Enosburg. We would like it between Birchway and Aaron Wright's house.
Yeah, what was Aaron Wright's? Yeah, they're not there anymore.
Coming towards Bakersfield,
Same place.
we would like it between
Aaron Wright's.
Birchway and the base of the hill.
Yeah.
By the golf course.
Yeah.
Both sides of Birch Way.
Both sides of Birchway,
Yeah.
but this.
No,
makes
I
it
like that. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yep.
I like
Because
that.
then
In the middle of the road.
the thing you don't want is you don't want it.
You don't
on a
want
corner,
it like
and-
that, yeah.
And Birchway is on a
It's
corner.
on a-
See, ask him if he's got a problem. He doesn't remember what John said. That's pretty much exactly what I said.
John says pull the finger.
Yeah. Listen next time. Hey, can we jump over B and C while she's reading them? Because they're both hers and just hit
I
MERP
was
update?
just saying that we never made a motion that
Right.
Josh could be the one signing.
And Josh
No.
doesn't want that.
What we didn't make a motion is we didn't make a motion saying that Lance could be the one signing. It
Right.
was made a motion
Right.
that I was the one that could sign.
It was
And I
Lance,
said-
and Lance was signing everything, that,
No,
right?
he had to do all the paperwork,
Yeah,
send it to me.
oh,
I
okay.
had to dig through this freaking,
So then you've got to have this rewritten because they've got it as you.
okay. Tammy, send him an email back.
A motion authorizing Joshua J. Goss, seconded by.
I thought it was the other way, that Lance and then you.
It should
were
be,
signing.
it should be Lance.
Lance
No,
Lawyer on there
no.
at all.
Lance is supposed to be the one signing it because he's the one that's doing all the paperwork. And it goes into this goes into a portal.
It's gotta be,
for-
wait,
Suggested
wait,
wording.
wait, hold on. It's this one.
This is an opinion.
So-
Suggest all he wants is the minutes saying that you said
That Lance can sign it.
that.
Who wants? All who wants?
Agree to
Who wants?
or agree to.
Who wants it though?
It's just for legality
Mike
purposes.
Connor,
Yeah.
so they can proceed in the grant for getting back the money that we already paid. Bob.
What had happened was I was signing.
All right.
Lance was doing all this work in this portal.
I'm trying to
Right.
see what this
And
is
then they'd
like,
wait for
all
you.
the lead up.
He
to
would kick
this.
it to me. I would have to search
That's
through
just
this
a
portal
draft
because I didn't
opinion
have all
letter,
the
you
correct
know,
leads.
questions you
Find a
have,
paper. this and that.
regards.
There's
Then
what
all
the problem
this
is,
has to
they've
do
got
is
it all in
put
Josh's name.
It's
So that-
This
yeah,
is the
no, I
rad-
get you.
reimagine.
What point does the board decide the information's good that we're putting in the portal? Just asking.
It's,
Don't,
it's
I don't mean to freak you out. I'm just asking.
just
So what it's,
Reimbursement.
Okay,
it's
this
saying
is
here,
all
is
regarding.
you
reimbursement.
were asked to suggest some proposed language to include in your minutes ratifying Joshua J. Goss authority to enter into binding contracts. The first with the Northwest Regional Planning Commission, the second with the Design Group, both dated June 13. While there is no magic language required in order for a municipality to make the binding decision, the decision needs to be made in a meeting of the select board. So it says the next item of business, and that was at the June
about-
13th, 2022
So is this
was
something
make.
we should wait for Lance because I guess I'm confused. as to
Well, I am
what this
too,
is
because
for.
this is what it's saying. But down here it says, be it resolved that Joshua J. Goss, former select board chair of the town of Bakersfield, was authorized to enter into. I am.
See, and that's where it's messed up because
Yeah.
Lance was originally the chair
Right.
and he was authorized. And then he was.
What's 2 more weeks? Set it aside.
Exactly.
Okay.
No, I
Hey,
agree.
is there a
I'm
deadline on getting
I'm
on
totally
track?
confused on it now.
Is there a deadline?
Find out what he wants us to actually say.
Why can't we just term it that?
Now, I
the
go to Gone and ask Gone what he wants us.
Select board member assigned the Brigham Academy project. and then
Lance is-
Did Linda leave me her book that I don't want?
Lance
Dawn sent us.
Oh,
goes
no,
to
this
the
is
next
yours.
one.
Ginger.
Duly authorized.
So was it not in the June 13th minutes? Is that what the problem is?
Like,
So
I
then-
can't remember what happened.
No, but I'm saying, so what time is it gonna say if we make a motion tonight to?
I was gonna
use
say, I
some-
don't remember this.
I
He
think that's,
doesn't want it.
I think that's wrong. I
Oh,
think
you're saying it
Lance
should
was
be
the
Lance
original
here.
signer
Here.
and then he was. we were
That makes more
re-putting him in
sense,
as
yeah.
Former select board chair,
So
because he was the one in charge of all that paperwork.
So it should have been Lance Lawyer,
should've
the
been
former,
Lance.
yeah, okay, that makes sense, that does make sense now.
Unless,
So if all this is us making a motion to put Lance in there, why don't we just make the motion? And if they want to have a formal document typed up, because she's saying it just has to reflect it in the minutes.
It has to say you're.
because
We don't know what
we
they're
want to
really.
make sure that that's the one that we're trying to talk
All
about.
right,
And this is.
so
yeah.
B's off the list today.
The list for now.
We're up to employee insurance.
Yep.
Look, we got it. We got insurance.
Oh my God, more paper, 4 trees.
Hey. Cut 'em off.
So what do you think, insurance rep? What are we talking?
If you wanna do this, you gotta do it right off.
Yeah, we're kind of right against the wall, right?
What's,
Oh, nobody wants to hear what I think.
Tell me what you think. I'll listen.
I think they should be paying part of their insurance, but
Well,
well,
that's just
technically-
my thought.
Technically, they would be if there was more than one person that's taking it.
Right.
I still think we should,
What plan we were looking at.
well, we're on the platinum. I wanted to look at the reflective ones, the silver or whatever to help
Oh
the
my
town,
God,
but
I
forget
hate
it. That's
that.
not gonna work. So
Right, what we were looking at was the MVP Vermont plans in the standard, right?
I believe it was standard.
Not the
Platinum.
And the gold. But one of those two.
Platinum.
And then, so we said what the contract that, or what the motion that was passed is that we would pay the platinum single plan. So if you go to the
Correct.
bottom,
So we're looking at the standard, not the non-standard, right?
correct,
Okay, so the,
So it's
So you're looking in the blue?
1,094.86.
correct, 1,094.86 is
Right.
what the town.
How does that, how does that
Should
compare
it's
to the Blue Cross Blue Shield?
That-
Do we know?
they're like within a few dollars.
I don't-
I know they guaranteed us they would get under it, but
Yeah, but I mean, if we're talking, first of all, we're talking one employee.
right,
Right.
today, we're talking one
Right.
employee.
Right, but what I'm saying is, you
I
know,
get you.
next year we could switch plans if we wanted to.
Right.
We need to do it earlier. We definitely need this
Absolutely.
discussion much
Right.
earlier.
No, you
Clear.
still have plenty of time to
Right.
change it.
What
Yeah,
I'm
you got
saying
till
is
January.
if it's,
Is it? I'm
say it's
not sure,
$1,100 there,
Yeah.
I
is
think-
it worth the
I don't
10
even think it
bucks
was
Right.
1,100.
to do all the hassle of switching?
This one's much easier to read.
That one there.
Oh, son of a gun. I can get my finger to work, maybe it'll be easier to read. All right,
So,
so the
down
platinum
there.
on,
1132.
so we're talking
$34
not
if I
even
heard Josh right.
$100
No.
difference.
No,
It was
Not even
1132.59 for Blue Cross Blue Shield. And MVP is 1194.86
No.
or
What was that one?
1,094.86.
11,
This one's 1132.
It's 34 bucks.
59,
Is that a sure thing? No, I
minus
thought that.
90,
94.86. It's 30 something dollars
37.73.
over a year.
I'll be honest with you,
It's not worth changing.
it's not worth changing at this point. I mean, if we were
I
talking.
mean,
a
if we were
couple
going to a
$100
reflective silver,
Then it's worth
like
changing.
a 3, then it would be worth it. I
Right.
think.
but
Yeah,
we-
but
But I
like-
don't know what's reflective over there too. Do they have such a thing there?
Yeah, they have a form of it.
Yeah,
Just kind of comparing again, is it only, you know?
They said they would beat them. They didn't say
$30.
to crush them. Right,
well, the thing is though, is we've already put it
for
for
one person.
that we voted on it and everything
Yep.
that we are paying
Right.
single
Platinum.
platinum plan or
Right.
its equivalent.
The silver reflective is quite a bit cheaper.
How much was that? Just,
$761 for
So
Blue Cross Blue
it's
Shield.
really not that much
Yeah,
cheaper. It's
seven-
that-
No, I mean,
Yeah,
overall,
yeah.
not comparing the two.
Comparing
The-
to
the-
We've
the-
already said
Comparing the
single
two.
silver.
Yeah, the
Alright.
concern was the deductible, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
where it all came in on that
So
conversation.
honest, in my opinion,
Can,
that
can we compare
basically-
one thing though? What are they getting in the platinum here that you might not be getting there? Are you getting, you know what I'm saying, Josh? Are you
the, are
getting
the
more?
plan comparative.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, there was a wellness reimbursement for gym membership. There was all kinds of stuff.
I'm just saying, if they're getting
No,
more
I
things
completely
for
agree.
less money.
Yeah, if you remember, they were saying they could put that to a Peloton kind of thing or something.
So the plan deductibles are the same.
Right.
Out of pocket maximums are the
Oh,
same.
I was
Okay.
gonna say they're usually all the same.
Primary care, special visits.
Should pretty much be all the same.
3, 0, yeah, they're.
So
the
it's pretty
same.
much the same.
They're
down
pretty
through.
much the
Okay,
same
that's
across
all.
the board.
Does Blue Cross Blue Shield give them a $600 wellness reimbursement?
Um.
Where'd you see that?
drug,
If you want to see it on this one, it's the bottom right-hand corner.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
So.
That was one of the things we were talking about. Yeah, remember they said they could go buy a Peloton with it and put $600 towards it,
600.
gym membership.
Don't see that here.
So I don't know if
Is it worth? that?
Mark is really interested in going to the gym or getting an exercise bike, but that's the only, that and it's $30 cheaper.
And
Oh, wait, no. Remember the other things they were talking about was the service centers. There was much more
Well,
service centers.
Just get $600. You got a whole thing you
Right.
gotta fill out and
Right.
But you're right, the other one was
We have to
that
do
they
it too.
had better coverage throughout other states, if you're,
Right.
traveling, which Marky's not, but I don't think, but if you're traveling out of state a lot, Blue Cross Blue Shield may not be one of the ones that covers that, where this.
MVP
has
said
Aetna.
they did.
Remember they mentioned Aetna, that was one of the companies. they-
1,100 locations outside, yeah.
honest with you,
I don't think there's a big difference
there's not a big enough difference
to make. it-
right now that I
agree.
think we would make the change.
For one
Yep.
employee, I
I
would.
agree.
Right, and if, I say that we make this available to Mark, the
Yep.
MVP.
Yep.
He is the only one taking it right now, my next thought, I'm sorry. He is the only one taking it right now, and if he wants to look at this and see if there would be a better benefit,
Right, yep.
I honestly, to me, it's a hand wash either way, it's the same price, so I mean,
I agree.
if it's something he wants to look at for next year.
Yep.
I would be willing
Because
to
he's got
support,
time enough to sign up. for it.
absolutely,
Yeah.
Right,
yep,
he's
Yeah.
got till January something on
Yeah.
it,
so.
because he would be in new.
I agree with you.
you can sign up for this up until December 15th.
Oh, I thought it was only.
So,
But you would, if we wanted to, they'd want us to do it immediately.
Yeah.
Right, you'd have to make the change on a dime.
So I just,
As far as
I give
us.
him the offer, and if he says tomorrow, yeah, it's something I'm interested in, or nope, I'm happy
Okay.
with what I got, you know what I'm saying? Leave it the way it
Max
is.
gotta give it to him.
Yep.
There's an
Yep.
extra packet.
do you have, well,
I had one for Matt.
I'm just
and-
curious how we would communicate that to him.
Well, I think it's Mac being the ultimate lead on that.
yeah, I'm not, I understand what you're saying. Do you think
I really don't think it's worth even having.
Just leave them as
presenting
is.
it to him.
Just the way it
just leave it the way it is this year and next year,
Let's talk to the employees, all of them, and see, all right,
huh? Yeah, I'm just saying that the difference financially for us isn't,
This is not,
there's, I
Right,
mean, it's a difference of $37 a month. So this year, if we leave it the way it is, we don't have to worry about anything at this point.
right.
Still giving the literature to look at, and next year, if he thinks, you know, say maybe October, he goes, hey, I read through all that stuff about the insurance.
Right.
Can we look at that a little deeper? We can do another comparison, and then we will have plenty of lead time to make that
Say in June
decision.
or something.
Yeah.
If you're interested, guys, here's some other plans, go look at
Yep.
them. If it's something you're interested.
I
in,
agree. I
bring it
just
back.
feel like
Yeah.
we're pretty tight right now.
All righty.
Right.
So
That's what I'm saying. Well, I'm saying you can at least.
you can look at what they offer at that time, you know, compare
See if it's
like what
right.
you're looking at.
this is available only on Vermont Plus plans.
Right.
Ratification thing we talked about, employee insurance discussion. I feel like we're good there.
Yep, MERP update, no update.
No update on MERP warrants, reports are here. Reviewed the mail, I reviewed,
Number of them,
we've reviewed that mail like 5 different times.
Anything else you haven't reviewed?
There's
Yeah,
no, well,
because we're gonna have
Yeah.
that special meeting anyway.
um,
Give us an update. That'll be our update.
this
next
one's
time, yeah.
open, so I mean, I don't know.
Yes.
The Fiberworks did,
Special meeting.
Fireworks, just an update of what they're doing,
yes,
which is, you know.
they were supposed to get those.
That's that is the group, yeah, they sent an email just updating us at where they are. With their,
Correct.
Here's the mail.
So I missed last month's meeting, but this here, this memorandum
Yep,
for the record, are we
from,
saying from the cemetery?
Oh,
So we are allowing them to use that building?
we're saying.
Is that what we're saying?
yeah, well, so they've been using it, that's where they were storing lawnmowers or
Right.
stuff like that. So what we're saying is that yes, if there's anything that needs to be stored in conjunction with the cemetery commission, you know, say they're doing the stone cleanings and the guy says, hey, can I leave my machine here overnight? Well,
My question with that is, because they were letting somebody use it before, that, and the building is not secure and was a hazard.
Possible.
Who's gonna be liable if something happens
Cemetery.
when they let people use that?
yeah, I would say that's the
Yeah.
cemetery commission, but it's probably, right.
Their own liability.
That's a great question.
'Cause we,
Tammy, they are, no matter what.
No matter what. So we.
not, we don't even own that.
Since Bakersfield is using it, was gonna use it for town meeting.
Right.
or somehow-
We had, well, we had to show insurance.
Right.
Yeah. That was the question.
Right.
I had to call. and-
Right.
I think the caveat for any
And
building
not
being
regard
used,
to-
if a non-town entity is storing equipment in any building. That is a town building, it is at their own risk and liability is what we
Yeah,
need to put
You
in.
need
some
some,
writing.
that's part of that, no, that's part of that contract package
Right.
that they should have with that person
It
storing.
really shouldn't.
1099, right, exactly.
Oh, you know what I'm saying? In our contract, they should
Right.
have that
So there's their,
verbiage.
Right, we need to put
Yeah.
that in there because we can't be liable for people.
yeah,
It's
it's
a-
not-
use
it's
their
not about
toolbox
which one
down
they
there.
have,
He's
but I'll give you
looking
that
at
too, to
it.
put with the insurance.
Yeah,
We're
Right.
not liable for that.
yeah, and that's my thing though, and
Right.
Tammy, we have insurance for town stuff, but if you park your lawnmower.
Show that they have
Right.
insurance.
Right.
Correct.
Their own.
We don't want to take the liability for
No.
people storing equipment in one of
No.
our buildings.
That's what Vera's,
This was
Right.
what brought that whole subject,
right, but what,
In the
so
first
you were here for Vera's discussion, yes?
yes.
So that's what Vera is asking
That's
for,
what that
is the
contract-
liability insurance that says we're not liable for your
We need
lost
that in
stuff.
place.
So we definitely need
Correct.
to make sure, if we're gonna let every Tom, Dick and Harry
Something by-
in
Correct.
that Hearst house. over there, I
Liability
think
for-
we
I
wanna
would
make
have
sure.
our attorney look at that contract and
That's right.
Okay.
before we start using it.
But here's
make
the
sure it's
thing.
binding and we.
And
Well,
maybe you
if they
should
come
take
with
note of that,
DPDLs,
because
it
Vera
could be-
needs to, when we put that packet together, it needs to go in Vera's packet. So that's covered, their equipment, their actions, and or their health. Right, liability. What we're requiring to prove that they have.
Right.
Correct.
Exactly. Okay.
Before they do the job.
Anything else in the
Yeah,
mailbox?
cause I know like if you're renting,
Yeah, you get renters
Renters.
you have
insurance.
to have renter's insurance
Yeah.
in order for your,
Right.
like, if they store their lawnmower over there,
Yep,
it burns down.
right. We're not.
They're not going to get reimbursed for it.
They work through their own liability insurance is how, what they're saying. is they have to have that.
I'm saying, if they
So,
have-
see, that's my point, is that
Right,
if
at least-
that was the causation of the fire,
Right,
then their insurance should pick it up.
right.
That's right.
should pick it up.
But that's gotta be in a,
That's,
that's gotta be in a
The way,
document.
the way,
Yeah, that's 100.
the way I understand that,
No,
the way I understand this memorandum is that the cemetery commission can store their equipment there.
Yes.
So if,
That's what I would say.
That's what
Yeah.
I would say.
I think anything anything
contractors.
outside of a town entity
Yeah.
would
They
be,
have cement to
would
do the
have-
thing
yeah.
over,
it
whatever.
would have to be something else. So
Okay.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I interpret that.
Well, I think that's definitely what we need to clarify is
Yeah.
that. Yeah, if
So-
they wanna put a flower basket. That they put out in front of
Right.
the cemetery,
Right.
they wanna store it in there for the winter, that's fine.
Right.
But
John,
not Every Tom, Dick and Harry stuff in there.
So, yeah, so this is what's happening with that.
I'm assuming you're on hold too with cutting your beams and stuff.
yes, yeah,
That's why.
Who's that?
Yeah.
The dog
Oh,
bite.
yeah, yeah,
Dog
yeah,
bite.
yeah.
So I sent an email out to everyone regarding this. I was contacted once again by
I didn't see it.
counsel
My Sarah.
for one of the people bitten by the dogs. I have to figure out how to get you emails. I use your
Well,
emails.
because I saw where you had something, but I couldn't open anything up on it.
Crazy. Okay, well, I'll just explain it. It's all right. I was just giving everyone an FYI. We need to talk about it.
Mhm.
So counsel for one of the people who was bitten by Mr. Wonderlick's dogs is seeking a copy of our files. For
Under the Freedom of
uh,
Information Act.
to determine what next actions are. They have sent in an email to us, which I think some of you may have seen, I think forwarded along.
Yep.
That they have no intention and actually, since you're kind of semi in this as well, that even though you didn't really, but you are, that they,
Not coming after.
No.
you.
there's no legal action for what the town did.
Mhm.
They have no intention of suing the town. It has to 100% do with
The dog.
Mr. Wonderlick and the dog, it's the dogs themselves. So they need a copy of the files. I could not provide it without everyone's agreement, or at least the majority, to say provide it. They are asking, I mean, I'm sure they can put it through legal channels, which will cost us money, and we're gonna provide them a copy of our file, which is pretty much just the records of the dog bites.
Right.
So
which is what we've already provided them,
Right.
correct?
we have not provided them anything.
Mm-mm.
They asked.
Right, but we
We didn't
We
provide
told-
because we
no,
want
no, no.
the council.
What we did is we said that they were welcome to anything that was public record.
Right.
Yes,
They-
correct.
Now, is this file public record?
I don't wanna, I'm not a lawyer. I can't tell you if I would deem that public record. I mean, but it is medical records.
Anything we discussed in a public meeting,
Yeah.
that's what would be
It's
public.
every-
We discussed.
So-
But it's still get legal.
But I would have a legal opinion on it.
So, I mean, this one, the Department of Health is
You
the
can have it.
Department of Health Town Bite Officer, that's public record.
Yes,
Right.
for the
Uh,
town, not ours, but yes.
Well,
And then
the fax transmission from Northwest Medical,
That's
that
the
comes
individual who
from,
got bit, and that's a HIPAA.
right,
We gotta be careful with that one.
That's just the account of what happened.
this
of
is,
the individual.
right, but this comes from
The hospital.
the plaintiff.
Right.
Can I see who?
Did
Can I
he
see
give
who
that
was
to
the party? Wait a minute, hang on, I'm blind as a bat.
It's the one that came.
That was his, yes, that was the.
So they already have this information.
Right, I mean, we can send it, but
I
it's.
wouldn't send
You
it,
wouldn't
you
send
know.
anything.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking to see like who the correspondents are through.
That's an email for me, right?
Right, this is an email from you. That says you spoke with Ginger.
I spoke with Ginger. She may not
I
remember it.
get emails for the reports and I have to file the report in case anybody gets
Right.
news.
Yeah.
Right.
That's exactly what I wanted to
Immediately
express.
enough officers that won't be able to do this stuff.
Well, this one you won't have to worry about because the dogs have already been taken care of.
Yeah, they're not with us anymore.
And we have
Shepherds.
yes.
Yes.
I would, anything that's not HIPAA related.
Yeah,
That was brought up in an open meeting forum.
right.
Blackout, everything.
We'd have to, yeah, we'd have to.
You'd have to redact it, yeah.
Exactly.
Anything that leads to them to know where it.
Gotcha.
I mean,
I don't understand what they're looking for.
well, I think. they're
Because
looking-
he's the one that brought forth the complaint. He must have his own complaint.
Well, no, they're
They're
looking about.
wondering about the other people who were
Right.
bitten by these dogs to show that this, I'm only speculating.
No, but that's what they're
But
looking.
that they're showing a pattern,
Yes.
right?
To show he wasn't the only.
Right. And they say, hey, these dogs are kind of been a menace. Type thing.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to get legal clarification.
Mhm.
So we're gonna spend money on it.
It's, yeah, well, it's either that or we turn over documents.
Could cost us a
They
lot
could,
more.
yeah, they could end up costing us a lot more.
I just.
And here's the thing, they
I
can
mean,
get the exact same documents.
Don might say, no, go ahead, send it.
But yeah, but if he says go ahead and send it, that's on him.
That's right.
That's not on us. So yeah, let's, John, if you would. Reach out to. Or Tammy. If you could reach out to Mr. Gahn. I don't know how to pronounce it. And yeah, John, if you could forward that request letter to Tammy.
I can, but she may have been on the original.
She probably was, but can we just double check and make sure that she.
Make a note, I'll try to remember.
And Tammy,
If you don't get it from me in a day or two, let me know.
and if John, if you could also send an email to the lawyers requesting it. Just stating that we're having our lawyers look at it to make sure that we don't get ourselves in any legal issues. Just to make, they should understand, I mean, lawyers, yeah. I think that's the best way to handle that at this
Just
time.
surprised they didn't join. They were talking about joining them.
That would have been great. Cause then we could have just told them and they would have been like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Or they would have been like, you don't have to do that. And I would have been like, we're still going to.
Council review what we need, what we can provide.
Right.
But if you can send the formal request so that we can send that to Mr. Gahn.
We all pay so much.
The other thing I have here is a access permit.
Yep.
For Waterville Mountain Road. 1412 Waterville Mountain Road. It's an agricultural access for Larry and Cynthia Lawyer. Up on.
Get their four-wheeler stolen last
That's
night.
what I saw. I was gonna check with Mac. To see, it's agricultural, I don't. And I guess
Doesn't he have one up there already?
this, I don't,
The one he already has?
I would have to look that up on my map, hang on just a minute, 1412. Or 1.7 miles from here. There's a house there, I think that's where his daughter lives.
Oh, that's the one on the right. Yep.
So I wonder
That's
if he's putting in I wonder if he's putting in like a pump tank or something there that he needs to put a culvert in,
I know he.
because it does say agricultural.
Yeah, he did tell me he's not gonna be boiling, he was gonna do storage to sell.
So he may be putting in a driveway on the lower
Yeah.
portion to get out of there.
Yep.
The only thing I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna ask Mac if he has any restrictions on that culvert
Yeah.
size or anything like that. Hey, Mac, we got an access permit here for Larry Lawyer on Waterville Mountain Road. Is there any restrictions or things that need to be taken into consideration before we sign the go-ahead?
I think, didn't we just quantify the size of coverts and stuff we need? What-
Yeah, it's right here. Culvert size no less than 18 inches and 30 feet long.
We just did
Yeah,
that.
we did that on that new- yeah, on that new thing.
I
I
think
can't remember something, Todd spending some time on it.
Right, no, the only thing is like, you know, if that was on a ledge area.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get an 18-inch,
Then we.
Matt could say, he could say,
Class 4,
he-
that's class 3.
Right.
We didn't talk.
and he
class
could say, you know, a 12-inch steel culvert. As opposed to,
Right.
so I mean,
Mac's already gone through that, right? I'm assuming.
They-
I, he hasn't,
Seth had to have his okayed up there by now.
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, we all
I
do.
think that's what he's doing. I didn't put him.
So I don't. I mean, we can approve it. Pending, or we can not approve it, but,
What do they need it by?
well, I mean, most people want that as soon as they can get it, but. This was submitted on the 6th, today is the,
Last Monday.
And we.
so I mean. There's no,
Mac didn't send.
we didn't, usually Mac will say something.
Usually you'll see something from.
And it says we were received and paid, so I mean, I don't foresee any issues other than that. So. For a vote,
I make a motion to sign the driveway access on
1412,
1412 Waterville Mountain Road for Larry and Cynthia lawyers.
We had on the condition, Max. We'll sign it, but on the, it'll be final approval, Max. Okay.
road commissioner, yep.
Commissioners, okay?
On the, what'd you say?
Well, I don't know about doing that because we go ahead and sign it and then
Yeah.
Matt says that he's gotta have a
Right.
48-inch culvert and, you know, not.
Well,
that Mac would do that, but
It's good. All I'm concerned is that Max says, yep, we're good, you know, yeah,
Yeah.
that's okay. But if, that's fine, I'll present it, that's fine.
Okay,
You seconded?
So.
You know, I'll second Terry's motion.
issued on,
Seconded by John. Yeah, I beat Todd this time, actually. He looked at me.
I was letting you do that.
Thanks.
Yes.
we do have to sign this one though.
Is one hefty.
When are we starting budget meetings?
Soon,
Not till January?
No, we need to do that before.
soon. We can't wait till January.
We typically do one or two, sorry, during December. To try and get it,
That's what I thought.
and then one or two during January. I've talked to him and looked at it. I told him a 12 inch is plenty because there's only a short distance. And only one off from the roads. He's gonna put a 40 feet in. And he already had a permit for that drive, but he has expired a couple years ago, so I told him to resubmit a new one.
Since it says 18 on.
One of the things I'd like to discuss about the budget is all those little entities that come in at the end.
Yep, such as,
I would like to see us
Nice.
yes,
Well-
already dated.
have some sort of outline that you have to,
Submit by, I think there should be a.
well, I think there
We
should
shouldn't
be,
be
I
taking
think there
things
should
in
be a
February.
better legit reason than just because I send a letter, I want.
I mean, I don't.
So we always,
About,
so I mean, you've been here a couple of years. We always read through the request letter.
read through the request letters.
We don't have anything that says what our
Have a
Qualifications.
we don't have a pre-qualification list. What we do is we go based off of what we think benefits the town
Yeah.
or,
Mhm.
Just look at
Well,
that.
That's a good business. reason.
yeah, or has a
Support
good,
something,
yeah, support something town, yeah.
I think we should put a. deadline date,
Give that to
though,
Tim.
Cause those things roll in.
Yeah, but the problem is you can't really put a deadline date on it because some of them are even national. And they just send them. They don't,
Yeah,
Well, if we put it in our
well, we do have a deadline.
March 1st.
No, the third week in January,
Yeah, it's-
because that's when we have to have the book printed.
Right. They can get-
So if it's not in by the third week in January, it doesn't even get considered.
Something in on the last night, or we're trying to do something,
No.
Yeah,
so that's my piece.
um,
But I, you know, We're already receiving, we've been, I think we've. got
Yeah,
a
we've got
handful
2 or
already.
3.
God, last
Yeah.
year we had so many.
Yeah,
About
I'm sorry. Our taxes are bad enough. We don't need to start adding for everybody else's stuff.
So true. So.
hey, I stood up the year we tried to get a police department and said. You just turned down $5,000 for a police department in your town, but you just gave away $7,000 to entities that don't do anything for you.
Right.
Good
I
job.
agree.
Thank you.
No,
So, yeah, you're preaching to the choir over here. I would entertain
Speaking
a
of police department, has anyone been entertaining the racing on Main Street, the passing of cars and?
I only did one of those burnouts and that was just to prove that I could. I'm joking. I did not do any burnouts. Yeah.
No, it's gotten bad.
It has, but
I was gonna say, they have a new committee that just got promoted, Lieutenant Philippine.
Mhm.
What I would suggest is have him come up.
extend an invitation.
Extend an invitation to come up, introduce himself to us, and it's a good chance for us to say, hey. We understand you're understaffed, but is there a chance that we could get somebody just to drive through the town?
Every once in a while.
Once a week.
We do have.
I'll tell you what I would like to see about entertaining
Vermont State
some
Police.
cameras installed in some of the areas in town.
Is there such a thing, you know, like if you drive through Texas,
No,
you're speeding.
They
they'll
give
take
you a
snapshot
camera,
and they'll
yeah.
send you a ticket.
that's illegal.
It's illegal. in
Yeah, see, like, just like.
You don't get a ticket for it. I just want cameras
Well,
so
we
we
can
can
bring
stop some of this crime that's going around town.
And I think the cameras-
Yeah, well, I've also looked at the new
Signs.
I've-
But you gotta be
Huh?
careful because
Still in signs.
you gotta be
Still
careful
the
about-
cameras. You're gonna have to put them up awful high.
There's a lot into.
Oh, believe me, there's cameras that
I
are put up
think-
very high.
I think there are some, we're in New England, it's a little different, but. The other thing that I've noticed in Enosburg is they have those illuminating crosswalks.
Yes.
I really think the town would benefit from, even if it's just
One by the sky,
one
I agree.
by the town library.
Yep.
So that this is maybe a little bit personal.
Yeah.
But for the kids that are crossing Main Street, if they all go up the Brigham Green.
Yep.
And they cross right there.
Yep.
At least, I mean, I've come through there before when my kids are getting out of school. And there's kids crossing all over the place. I'm not saying they're looking and they're doing.
There's
but there are some,
going 70
So,
miles an hour through
Is
town.
that our responsibility or is that something we request
So-
the state to do?
I think we would have to pay for the signs. And probably the power to operate them. And we would have to get permission from the state to put them in.
Oh, are you saying the speed limit sign that says 15?
No, no, I'm saying you push the button,
You push the
and it's-
button and the lights flash
You know,
when
they're
you're.
putting a lot down South Burlington.
they're putting a lot of them in Enosburg. Yeah, they're on the rail trail.
Yeah,
Oh, that's true too. Yeah, they're on the rail trail down on 36.
they're solar.
Yeah, they're on
Yeah.
36.
It's flashing crosswalks.
I guess I would ask the state, can we put them on the state highway? That's all.
Can we just request
We
the
have to
state to
request
put it
the
up
state
there?
to put them up.
I think we can. I think you could get those without much
I think it's
cost,
right.
and not cost.
No.
I think you could get them without much backlash because there's already an established state
Yes.
crosswalk there.
Yes,
All we want to do is,
and I think if you use the school.
Enlighten it,
thing,
yeah.
I think that will drive it, and that's why I'm
Yeah.
thinking the state might actually.
Yeah, we should ask the state if they'll put them in.
If they
So-
don't, then can we do it? Can we use our-
maybe reach out to, I know this is District 8 Garage, which is out of St. Albans.
Mhm.
And see, maybe we could get a rep to come up from there.
We're not District 8, we're Enosburg.
That's District 8.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all at the
St.
same.
Albans, Cambridge,
Oh.
Enosburg, Montgomery, technically, Georgia,
No, for the Department.
Department of Transportation.
Agency. transportation.
The state police is also out of St. Albans, but they're not District 8, they're just St. Albans State Police.
Cameras right here on the church would be nice. And the historical.
So the problem is Vermont has a right to privacy like type act.
They put them up themselves.
Who did?
Yay.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying we can't do it. They can.
Right. I like to make a motion that we
Towns to
adjourn.
have them.
Nope, didn't happen.
Is
I
it?
tried, Josh.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion we adjourn.
I'll second that motion, even though I made it first, I'll second it.
Motion's been, yep, made by Todd, seconded by John. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
The other night,